Namaste, everyone. How are we today? How's the room? I see a lot of smiles. I see a lot of nods. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Namaste, everyone. Good evening and a very warm welcome to Namaste Web3, presented by Forbes India, Coindcx, supported by Bharat Web3 Association. With Namaste Web3, we focus on making India Web3 ready. I'm your host, Mukta Kalra. And we're going to be talking about everything decentralized finance. Decentralized finance has been a major trend in the blockchain world and crypto world over the past few years. And with the advent of smart contracts and decentralized application, DeFi has become a reality, providing users with a range of financial services, transparent and accessible to everyone. Today, in our Namaste Web3 Ahmedabad chapter, we will be attempting to unfold why the next decade will belong to DeFi. Before we begin our proceedings for the evening, we have a brief announcement to make. We have created a Telegram channel, Namaste Web3 Movement, where we'll keep the dialogue on, we'll keep you updated about our next initiatives, our subsequent chapters. So we would like to invite all of you to join this channel. You can scan the code right here and join us. For those of you who are also joining us virtually, this is your chance to be participative. Scan the code, join us, and be part of the journey. All right. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Dilip Shenoy, Chairman, Bharat Web3 Association, for joining us. It was a great opportunity to have met you last time in Pune, and again, you are here, sir. Thank you so much for taking out time for this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to begin with, we are presenting a masterclass to you on the investment opportunities that exist in the DeFi space. Obviously, the world of Web3 and DeFi is still evolving and new. Our attempt through this masterclass will be to simplify and decode and introduce you to the world of DeFi from an investor's point of view, from an investor's lens to look at it. I would now request Praveen Ved, popularly known as Praveen Diliwala, internet entrepreneur, motivational coach, and founder Earnshala, to come up on the stage for a masterclass on a practical guide to understand DeFi investment. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Praveen. You don't get to meet Praveen very often and get an audience with him, so make the most of this masterclass. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste, audience. How are you? केम छो? अब गुजरात में आए हैं, इतना धीरे केम छो? थोड़ा सा एनर्जी चाहिए मुझे यार. मजा मत देखो, पीछे से आई है एनर्जी. एक बार अपने लिए क्लैप कर लो यार, इस इवेंट में आए हो. देखो, जो एंटरटेनमेंट वाले इवेंट्स होते हैं, पीपल गो देयर एंड यू नो दे जस्ट हैव एन एंटरटेनमेंट ओवर देयर. बट ये जो इवेंट हो रहा है, यहाँ पे आप लोग नई चीजें सीखोगे ऑन डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड फाइनेंस. सो आज का जो हमारा गोल है, आप लोगों को डीफाई से आप लोगों को सिखाना है कि व्हाट इज डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड फाइनेंस. एंड सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है कि मेरी ये कोशिश रहेगी कि इस इवेंट में आप लोग ज्यादा नोट मत करो. मैं पीछे देख रहा हूँ बहुत सारे लोग पेन वगैरह लेके बैठे हुए हैं कि अभी मैं कुछ बताने वाला हूँ फॉर्मूलाज, और आप लोग उसको लिख के ले जाओगे. नाउअडेज सारी चीजें इंटरनेट पे अवेलेबल है. माई एजेंडा इज टू मेक यू गाइज अवेयर कि इसको प्रैक्टिकल फॉर्म में हम कैसे कर सकते हैं. डिसेंट्रलाइज फॉर्म का प्रैक्टिकल वर्जन क्या है जिसको एक यूजर कर सकता है, वो आज हम जानेंगे. इसके अलावा कॉन्सेप्ट वगैरह भी जानेंगे, राइट, कि ये डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस होता क्या है, कैसे इंप्लीमेंट होता है, किस टेक्नोलॉजी पर बेस्ड है. वो सारी चीजें इस सेशंस में मैं कोशिश करूंगा आप लोगों को बताने की. अगर अपने बारे में बात करूं तो I'm a content creator, I'm an internet entrepreneur and finance enthusiast. मैंने लास्ट 5-6 सालों में बहुत सारी चीज़ें एक्सप्लोर की है, और उसमें से क्रिप्टो एक है जिसने मुझे सबसे ज़्यादा एक्साइट किया, क्योंकि जिस टेक्नोलॉजी पर ये बेस्ड है वो लिटरली वो आने वाले समय का मतलब आप कह सकते हैं कि जो रिक्वायरमेंट है उस पर है. ठीक है, तो इसको शुरू करते हैं. आज का जो हमारा गोल है, मैं कोशिश करूंगा कि इसको जितना सिंपलर वर्जन पे मैं आप लोगों को समझा सकूं वो मैं करूंगा. मैं हमारे जो सोशल मीडिया पे भी जो हम कंटेंट प्रोवाइड करते हैं ऑनलाइन बिजनेस पे, इसके अलावा हम यहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात करते हैं, उसमें हमारा एजेंडा ये रहता है कि कैसे आसान फॉर्म में इसको समझाया जा सके, ताकि एक एंड यूजर जो यहाँ पे भागलपुर से भी देख रहा है, एक छोटे गांव से भी देख रहा है, वो भी चीजों को समझ सके। एंड इंडिया में बहुत ज्यादा पोटेंशियल है आज की डेट में, तो कोशिश करेंगे कि सारी की सारा जो ये कॉन्सेप्ट है वो आसानी से समझ सके और एग्जाम्पल्स के साथ समझ सके। एंड सबसे बड़ी बात कि यहाँ पे ना हम आपको सिर्फ ज्ञान वगैरह नहीं देके जाएंगे, हम आप लोगों को प्रैक्टिकल इंप्लीमेंटेशन भी सिखाने वाले हैं कि डीफाई एक्चुअल में दिखता कैसा है, इसको आप कैसे यूज कर सकते हैं, एक एंड यूजर कैसे इसको यूज कर सकता है। ठीक है, तो ये सारी चीजों पे आज का हमारा जो ये मास्टर क्लास होने वाली है। सबसे पहले मैं सवाल करना चाहूंगा ऑडियंस से कि कितने लोगों ने इन्वेस्टमेंट की है स्टॉक मार्केट में, अपने हाथ रेस करें। बहुत सारे है यार, ये सारे का ही स्टॉक मार्केट वाले तो यहाँ पे नहीं आ गए, ये क्रिप्टो का इवेंट है। अच्छा ठीक है, चलो क्रिप्टो की बात कर लेते हैं। क्रिप्टो में कितने लोगों ने इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है, रेज योर हैंड्स। थोड़ा सा नंबर कम है बट कोई नहीं, आने वाले 5 सालों में नंबर चेंज होगा। क्रिप्टो का जो सीन है वो ऐसा रहता है कि हर 3 साल में नंबर बढ़ जाते हैं जैसे जैसे क्रिप्टो बढ़ता है। सो खैर, डीफाई एप्लीकेशंस को कितने लोगों ने एक्सपीरियंस किया है या यूज किया है, रेज योर हैंड्स। देखो बड़े नंबर कम है यहाँ पे, कोई बात नहीं, इसीलिए हम यहाँ पर है डीफाई को समझने के लिए, राइट, दैट्स व्हाई वी आर हियर। सो डीफाई समझते हैं क्या ये, किसने किन किन लोगों को थोड़ी सी इसकी नॉलेज है, कुछ नॉलेज है, आपको तो ऑफकोर्स होगी। सो यस, बहुत सारे हैं जिनको नॉलेज है इसके बारे में, बहुत सारे लोग जानने आए हैं, इसी वजह से हम लोग ये मास्टर क्लास कर रहे हैं। सो डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस, जैसे कि अपने नाम में ही ये दिखता है कि यहाँ पे डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का कुछ है। सो डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन फाइनेंस ये रेफर करता है एज अ सेट ऑफ फाइनेंशियल एप्लीकेशन एंड सिस्टम बिल्ट ऑन ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी that aim to provide traditional financial services in a decentralized and open manner। ये डेफिनेशन हो गई है, मुझे पता है बहुत सारे लोगों को समझ नहीं आया, कोई बात नहीं, हम एग्जांपल्स यूज करेंगे ना। तो आसान भाषा में अगर इसको समझाने की कोशिश करें तो ये आपके फाइनेंसेस पे आपका जो कंट्रोल है वो थोड़ा और ज्यादा बढ़ा देता है, राइट। अब आप कहेंगे कि फाइनेंसेस में कंट्रोल कैसे बढ़ेगा, हमारा तो ऑलरेडी कंट्रोल है ना यार। जो आपका पैसा, मान लो अगर एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं, बैंक में पड़ा है, उसमें कंट्रोल तो आप लोगों का ही है। आप लोग जब बोलोगे तभी बैंक पैसा निकाल के देगा, राइट। ऐसा ही होता है, नहीं होता है, यस और नो। तो यहां पे मतलब मैं अगर आप लोगों को बताऊं, एक्चुअल में ऐसा नहीं होता। सो सबसे पहले डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस को अगर आप समझना चाहते हो तो चलो पहले समझते हैं ट्रेडिशनल फाइनेंस काम कैसे करता है। अभी हमारे ट्रेडिशनल फाइनेंस में क्या क्या चीजें आती है, ब्रोकरेज फर्म्स आते हैं, क्रेडिट यूनियंस आते हैं, इंश्योरेंस कंपनीज है, बैंक्स है, इसके अलावा इन्वेस्टमेंट डीलर्स वगैरह है। ये सारे मैंने कुछ एग्जांपल्स लिए हैं और भी हो सकते हैं। तो ये सारे मिलके हमारा करंट फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम बनाते हैं, जो जिस पर अभी चीजें काम कर रही है। सो अगर हम डिसेंट्रलाइज, तो अगर हम इस चीज को अगर हम गौर से नोटिस करें तो यहां पे जो कंट्रोल है एक सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी के पास है। सेंट्रल अथॉरिटी एज इन की एग्जांपल लेते हैं बैंक्स का। बैंक्स के में अकाउंट हम सबके होंगे, और जिन लोगों के नहीं है मोदी जी ने वो खुलवा दिए लास्ट 10 सालों में। अभी मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई ऐसा है जिनका अकाउंट नहीं है, ठीक है। तो ऐसे में बैंक्स में अगर आप देखें तो बैंक्स में सेंट्रलाइज अथॉरिटी कौन है, बैंक। आप बैंक को अपना पैसा देते हैं, अब ये बैंक है वो डिसाइड करता है कि उस पैसे को वो कहां पे लेंड करेगा आगे, उसमें आपका कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है। लेट्स सपोज यहां पे मान लेते हैं कि कोई बैंक फेल हो जाता है, जैसे कि अभी हम देख रहे हैं कि यूएस में बैंकिंग क्राइसिस चल रहा है। किस किस को यूएस बैंकिंग क्राइसिस के बारे में पता है, सभी लोगों को पता है। सी, बैंक में यूएस में क्राइसिस हो रहा है, राइट। अब बैंक अगर यहां पे डिफॉल्ट हो जाता है तो पैसा का जिम्मेदार कौन होगा, कोई नहीं होगा, बैंक तो एक सर्टेन अमाउंट ही रिटर्न करता है। तो यहां पे इस चीज को सही करने के लिए, इस चीज को और एडवांस बनाने के लिए हमारे पास डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड फाइनेंस सिस्टम्स है, जहां पे जो कंट्रोल है वो एक एंटिटी के पास नहीं है, वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है। वो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है अमंग वेरियस नोड्स एंड नेटवर्क्स, ताकि यहां पे आप देख सकते हैं कि जब भी कोई फेलियर होता है तो उस केस में रिस्क के चांसेस बहुत कम है यहाँ पे, राइट। और यहाँ पे अगर हम बात करें बैंक्स की भी, तो जैसा मैंने बताया कि बैंक्स के कुछ ड्रॉबैक्स है कि वहां पे पैसा जो है आपके कंट्रोल में नहीं है, बट डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंसेस की बात करें तो वहां पे आपके अपने पैसे पर पूरा का पूरा कंट्रोल है। आप कहेंगे कि पूरा का पूरा कंट्रोल कैसे है, तो वहां पे आपके पास ये अथॉरिटी है कि अगर आप डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस सिस्टम्स को यूज करते हैं तो आपके पास ये अथॉरिटी है कि आप अपना पैसा किसको लेंड करना, देना चाहते हैं, नहीं देना चाहते हैं, वो सारी अथॉरिटी आपके पास है। ये जो इसका एक फीचर है इसको स्मार्ट बनाता है, एडवांस बनाता है, और मुझे लगता है कि यही चीज जो है इसको पॉपुलर भी कर रही है। लास्ट कुछ सालों में ये बहुत पॉपुलर हो रहा है, राइट। सो ऐसे में यहां पे इसका एक और बेस्ट एग्जांपल है क्रिप्टो करेंसीज। बिटकॉइन के बारे में तो सबको पता होगा, राइट। ऐसा तो कोई नहीं है जिसको बिटकॉइन के बारे में नहीं पता, सबको पता है बिटकॉइन के बारे में। सो बिटकॉइन भी एक तरीके की डिसेंट्रलाइज फॉर्म ऑफ करेंसी है जो कि ब्लॉकचेन पर बेस्ड है। ये पीयर टू पीयर पेमेंट सिस्टम को यूज करता है। मतलब अगर मुझे आपको बिटकॉइन भेजना है तो मैं डायरेक्टली आपको भेज सकता हूं आपके एड्रेसेस वगैरह को जान के। मुझे यहाँ पे किसी मिडिलमैन की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट। साथ ही साथ ये हाईली सिक्योर भी है क्योंकि ब्लॉकचेन पर बेस्ड है। सो ये एक बेस्ट एग्जांपल है दोस्तों, जहां पे जो है आप ये देखोगे कि ये डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस पे काम करता है। अभी हमने एक चीज पे बात की थी यहाँ पे, ब्लॉकचेन पे। ब्लॉकचेन के बारे में भी आप लोग जानते हैं, थोड़ा थोड़ा जानते हैं? हाथ ऊपर करें कौन कौन जानते हैं। आप लोग यार बहुत सुस्त से पड़े हो, थोड़ा सा मैं चाहता हूं कि आप लोग रिप्लाई करें, बात करें, हमारी ये टू वे कम्युनिकेशन हो, ताकि मुझे भी समझ आए कि यार जो मैं बता रहा हूं वो आप लोग समझ पा रहे हो नहीं पा रहे, ठीक है। तो यहां पे अगर हम बात करते हैं ब्लॉकचेन की, तो ब्लॉकचेन डेफिनेशन देखो ये है। डेफिनेशन आप लोग कहीं से भी पढ़ सकते हो, डेफिनेशन निकालना कोई बहुत वो नहीं है, बट मैं आपको आसान भाषा में समझाऊं तो ये डेटाबेसेस होते हैं ब्लॉक, जिसमें डेटा स्टोर होता है। बट यहां पे अगर हम ब्लॉकचेन की बात करें तो डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड डेटाबेसेस है जो ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी पर काम करते हैं, राइट। तो अगर हम कुछ इसके एग्जांपल्स की बात करें तो यहाँ पे अगर इसके फीचर्स की भी बात करें दोस्तों, तो ये ओपन टू ऑल है, राइट। जैसे कि यहाँ पे अगर आप लोगों को ब्लॉकचेन को चेक करना है तो आप लोग जाके चेक कर सकते हैं किसी भी ब्लॉकचेन को, अगर आप लोगों को चेक करना है जो पब्लिक ब्लॉकचेन्स है। इसके अलावा जैसे मैंने आप लोगों को बताया कि ये डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड है, ये एक सेंट्रलाइज नहीं है। जैसे कि सेंट्रलाइज डेटाबेसेस के एग्जांपल क्या है, जैसे कि हमारी एप्लीकेशन वगैरह हो गई, गूगल एप्लीकेशन मान लेते हैं, तो वहां पे जो डेटा है वो सेंट्रलाइज सर्वर पे है आपका। बट यहां पे आप लोग देखेंगे जो ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी है वो डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन को प्रमोट करती है और उस पर बेस है, राइट। साथ ही साथ अनऑल्टर्ड है दोस्तों। ब्लॉकचेन पे ब्लॉक पे जो भी डेटा स्टोर होगा, जो भी ये एक इसको आप लेजर भी कह सकते हैं, इस पे जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन रिकॉर्ड होते हैं वो यहाँ पे अनऑल्टर्ड है, मतलब उसको डिलीट नहीं किया जा सकता। एंड दैट मेक्स इट वेरी सेफ आज के सिनेरियो में। समझ आ रहा है आप लोगों को? ठीक है। सो अगर हम बात करें इसकी वर्किंग की दोस्तों, तो ये पूरा का पूरा जो ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी है ये एक बहुत बेस्ट एग्जांपल है जिसमें हम DeFi एप्लीकेशन को बना सकते हैं, क्योंकि एक सेफ है और हमारे पास एक अच्छा ऑल्टरनेटिव है करंट सिस्टम का। तो इस पे एप्लीकेशंस वगैरह बन सकती है, जिस पे आज हम बात करेंगे। लेकिन यहां पे इसका एक छोटी सी यहां पे प्रॉब्लम आती है कि ब्लॉकचेन जो है स्टैटिक है। मतलब यहां पे ब्लॉक्स पे जो भी डेटा स्टोर होता है उस पे सिर्फ आप स्टोरेज कर सकते हो, उसको यहाँ पे कोई कमांड नहीं दे सकते अगर आपको उसको कुछ फीचर्स वगैरह उसमें करवाने हैं, राइट। सो उस केसेस में यहाँ पे हमारे पास यहाँ पे एक इसका सोल्यूशन निकल के आता है, स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स। स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स क्या होते हैं मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल से ही समझाता हूं। मान लेते हैं दो जन है, राम और हरी। राम और हरी का एक कॉमन अकाउंट है, कॉमन अकाउंट है। अब यहाँ पे अगर उस कॉमन बैंक अकाउंट से उनको पैसे निकालने हैं जो ब्लॉकचेन पर बेस्ड है, तो राम और हरी दोनों की परमिशन चाहिएगी, तभी वहां से पैसे निकल पाएंगे। अगर दोनों की परमिशन नहीं है तो पैसे नहीं निकल पाएंगे। तो इस केस में यहां पे अगर सिर्फ हम ब्लॉक्स का यूज करेंगे उस ट्रांजैक्शन को कैरी करने के लिए, तो उसको नहीं पता कि राम और हरी का कॉमन बैंक अकाउंट है, तो यहां पे दोनों की परमिशन चाहिए। ये फंक्शनैलिटी डालने के लिए हम यूज करते हैं स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स, जहां पे हम लोग जहां पे हम लोग उसको एक कमांड देते हैं कि अगर यहाँ पे दोनों की दोनों कंडीशन मेट होती है तब वो सर्टेन चीज एग्जीक्यूट होती है। तो स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स आर नथिंग बट सिंपली अ प्रोग्राम stored on blockchain that run when predominant conditions are met, right? So अगर एक certain condition met होगी तो यहाँ पे दूसरी कंडीशन एग्जीक्यूट होगी ऑटोमेटिकली। इस केस में अगर आप देखते हैं तो राम और हरी अगर दोनों परमिशन देते हैं कि उनको अपने बैंक अकाउंट से पैसा निकालना है, और अगर मान लीजिए ये स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट पे बेस्ड है, अगर ये कंडीशन फुल होती है तो ही आपका पैसा विड्रॉ होता है। ये एक स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट का बहुत ही इजी एक्सप्लेनेशन है जो मुझे लगता है सारे लोग समझ पा रहे होंगे। अगर हम बात करें दोस्तों कुछ और फंक्शनैलिटीज की जो स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स की है, कि ये एडिशनल डेटा भी स्टोर कर सकता है। इसके अलावा अगर यहाँ पे हम बात करें कि अदर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से अगर इसको इंटरेक्ट करना है तो वो भी ये कर सकता है। अब देखिए कोई भी एप्लीकेशन क्रिएट होती है तो उसमें मल्टीपल स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट यूज हो सकते हैं अलग अलग फंक्शनैलिटीज के लिए, राइट? तो अगर मान लीजिए 2 स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट को अपने आप में अपने से इंटरेक्ट करना है तो वो भी फंक्शनैलिटी इसके पास है, ये कर सकता है। बेसिकली जो भी एक यूजर इससे करवाना चाहे वो स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की मदद से हम यहाँ पे कर सकते हैं, इसमें फंक्शनैलिटीज को ऐड करके। कुछ एग्जाम्पल्स की बात करते हैं क्योंकि एग्जाम्पल्स आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। अगर हम एग्जाम्पल से समझेंगे तो और बेहतर तरीके से समझ पाएंगे। तो एग्जाम्पल्स है जैसे क्राउड फंडिंग प्लेटफॉर्म्स हो गया। आप में से कितने सारे लोग हैं जिन्होंने एड्स देखे हैं यूट्यूब पे मेडिकल क्राउड फंडिंग के, जहां पे पेशेंट्स की स्टोरी दिखाई जाती है? किसी ने देखा है? सो दैट्स अ एग्जाम्पल कि इसको भी हम स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से बदल सकते हैं। तो उसमें क्या होता है, कितनी एंटिटीज है हमारे पास? 3 एंटिटीज है। एक तो जो यहाँ पे हमारे पास जो प्लेटफॉर्म है जो यहाँ पे फंडिंग दे रहा है पेशेंट्स को, वो है। हमारे केस में हम एक एग्जाम्पल लेते हैं इम्पैक्ट गुरु, वो एक प्लेटफॉर्म है। हमारी जो फर्स्ट एंटिटी है वो यहाँ पे है जो यहाँ पे डोनेट कर रहा है, डोनेशन दे रहा है, फंड्स दे रहा है। और थर्ड एंटिटी है हमारे यहाँ पे जो पेशेंट है जिसने अपनी स्टोरी यहाँ पे उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे डाली है। अगर एक पेशेंट को यहाँ पे डोनेशन लेनी है तो उसको यहाँ पे उसको अपनी स्टोरी डालनी पड़ेगी उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे, और अगर वो उस प्लेटफॉर्म पे डोनेशन जो डोनेट कर रहा है उसको उसकी स्टोरी पसंद आती है तो यहाँ पे उसको फंड मिल जाता है। तो इस केस में दोनों पार्टीज को ट्रस्ट करना पड़ेगा। यहाँ पे जो इम्पैक्ट गुरु है जो हमारा यहाँ पे मिडिल मैन है। बट अगर हम उसको रिप्लेस कर देते हैं स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट से तो क्या होगा? मिडिल मैन की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, राइट? मिडिल मैन की जरूरत इसलिए नहीं पड़ेगी क्योंकि स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में हम ये फंक्शनैलिटी डाल देंगे कि अगर यहाँ पे जो डोनेट कर रहा है और जो यहाँ पे जो उसकी नीड है और जो यहाँ पे जिसको डोनेशन चाहिए उसकी नीड पूरी होती है तो यहाँ पे फंड्स जो है एलोकेट हो जाएंगे। तो स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स का यूज और भी कई जगह किया जा सकता है। ये तो मैंने एक एग्जांपल लिया है। इंश्योरेंस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स अगर बनाए जाते हैं तो उसमें भी किया जा सकता है। डिसेंट्रलाइज लैंडिंग में भी किया जा सकता है, ये भी इसका एक एग्जांपल है। इसके अलावा डी एप्स जो होती है, डिसेंट्रलाइज एप्स, उसमें भी किया जा सकता है। सो डी एप्स भी यहाँ पे डिसेंट्रलाइज ही होती है। जैसे अभी हम करंट एप्लीकेशन जो यूज करते हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर हम यहाँ पे टेलीग्राम यूज करते हैं तो उसका एक सेंट्रलाइज सर्वर है जहां से वो अपनी इंफॉर्मेशन को रिट्रीव करता है। तो अगर वो सेंट्रलाइज सर्वर डाउन हो जाता है तो उस केस में एप्लीकेशन डाउन होने के भी चांसेस है, राइट? बट अगर हम डी एप्स की बात करें तो वहां पे जो यहाँ पे हमारा डेटा स्टोर होगा वो कंप्यूटर टू कंप्यूटर, नोट्स टू नोट्स होगा। तो उस केसेस में अगर एक सर्वर डाउन भी हो जाता है तो हमें उसकी टेंशन लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, हमारे पास और ऑप्शंस है, तो हमारी एप्लीकेशन डाउन नहीं होगी। सो दैट्स अ एग्जाम्पल ऑफ डी एप्स। सो इसकी भी एक एप्लीकेशन है दोस्तों, मैं आप लोगों को दिखाना चाहूंगा कि डी एप्स दिखती कैसी है। बहुत सारे लोगों को लगता है बड़ी बोरिंग होती है, बहुत मुश्किल से यूज करने को होती है, बट यहाँ पे जब हमने चेक किया तो हमें एक एप्लीकेशन है ऑक्टो। ये जो एप्लीकेशन है ये आप लोगों को हेल्प करती है जिससे आप डी एप्स को एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो ऑक्टो एक न्यूली लॉन्च एप्लीकेशन है जो इस फील्ड में काम कर रही है। एक एडवांस एप्लीकेशन है जो इस पर बेस्ड है, इस टेक्नोलॉजी पर, और एक तरीके का डीफाई वॉलेट आप इसको कह सकते हैं। अब यहाँ पे क्रिप्टो वॉलेट तो बहुत सारे हैं, राइट? आप में से कितने लोगों के क्रिप्टो करेंसीज में के वॉलेट आपके बने हुए हैं मोबाइल फोन पे? रेज योर हैंड्स। ठीक है, तो अभी जाके आप लोगों ने क्या करना है, इस एप्लीकेशन को भी चेक करना है। मैं क्यों चेक करना है आप लोगों को हम बताते हैं। सो यहाँ पे आप देखेंगे कि अगर हम बात करें ऑक्टो की, तो ये इसका सबसे यहाँ पे इंपॉर्टेंट जो फीचर है वो है सेल्फ कस्टडी वॉलेट। सेल्फ कस्टडी का मतलब होता है दोस्तों कि यहाँ पे जो भी आपका फंड्स है उसका सारा का सारा कंट्रोल आपके पास है, उसको आप कंट्रोल कर रहे हैं, राइट? जैसे मान लीजिए आपके वॉलेट में यूएसडीटी पड़ा है तो उसका कंट्रोल आप करेंगे कि उस यूएसडीटी को आपको किसको लेंड करना है या उसको यहाँ पे उसका क्या यूज लेना है, वो कंप्लीटली आपके कंट्रोल में। ये इसका सबसे बेस्ट एग्जांपल, ये इसका सबसे बेस्ट फीचर आप कह सकते हैं। इसके अलावा ओनरशिप, यहाँ पे जो कंप्लीट ओनरशिप होती है, प्राइवेट कीज होती है, उसका कंट्रोल आपके पास रहता है। साथ ही साथ सिक्योरिटी के मामले में भी ये एप्लीकेशन यूज करती है मल्टी पार्टी कंप्यूटेशन टेक्नोलॉजी, जो इसको बहुत सिक्योर बनाता है, राइट? ये कुछ इसके एग्जाम्पल है। इसके अलावा यहाँ पे एक की बैकअप ऑप्शन भी होता है। देखो, अगर आप लोगों का क्रिप्टो वॉलेट है ना, तो वहां पे आपकी एक प्राइवेट की होती है। अगर आप उसको खो दोगे तो आपका बहुत नुकसान हो सकता है। आप में से कितने लोगों ने वो खबर सुनी है कि यहाँ पे यूएस का एक बंदा है, उसकी एक आप कह सकते हैं कि उसकी वॉलेट की खो गई, उसमें मिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स के उसके पास बिटकॉइन थे, बट वो एक्सेस नहीं कर पाया उसको, राइट? वो इसीलिए हुआ क्योंकि उसकी प्राइवेट की खो चुकी थी। सो ऐसे में यहाँ पे आपके पास इसका भी एक्सेस है, क्योंकि इसको आप अपने फोन पे स्टोर कर सकते हो, की बैकअप ऑप्शन आपके पास रहता है, तो इवन आपका फोन भी खो जाए तो उसको रिकवर करना बहुत आसान है। दिस इज एन वेरी मच एडवांटेज ऑफ ऑक्टो ऐप। और अगर हम बात करें कि यार इससे एक एंड यूजर क्या कर सकता है, देखो गुजराती लोग हो ना आप लोग, क्या करना है, पैसे कमाने है ना। मतलब गुजरातियों की जब बात आती है तो यार लगता है सारे के सारे पैसे कमाने में नंबर 1 है, ठीक है। तो यहाँ पे पैसे कैसे कमा सकते हैं इससे, ये सबसे बड़ा एग्जाम्पल है। अभी जो एक एंड यूजर है ना, उसको इससे लेना देना नहीं है कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी क्या यूज हो रही है, उसको अपना फायदा दिखता है कि मैं कैसे इसको यूज कर सकता हूं, व्हाट आर माय बेनिफिट्स। तो एक्चुअली में आप इसका यूज करके यू कैन अर्न मनी ऑल्सो, यू कैन क्रिएट हैंडसम पैसिव इनकम ऑल्सो। ये कैसे होगी दोस्तों, तो इसके लिए हम आप लोगों को एप्लीकेशन पे थोड़ा सा दिखाते हैं कि कैसे ये काम कर रही है, क्या क्या चीजें आप लोगों को ऑफर करती है, जिससे आप लोग ये समझ पाए कि एक डीफाई एप्लीकेशन दिखती कैसे है। देखो जब मैंने पहली बार डीफाई के बारे में सुना था ना, तो मुझे लगा बड़ी बोरिंग एप्लीकेशन होगी। उसके बाद मैंने काफी एप्लीकेशन यूज की, जो इंटरनेशनल एप्लीकेशन है वो भी मैंने यूज करके देखी। तो मुझे ना मतलब मुझे बाद में पता लगा कि यार डीफाई एप्लीकेशन भी बहुत इजी टू यूज हो सकती है। एंड दिस इज वन ऑफ द एग्जाम्पल कि अगर आप एप्लीकेशन को चेक करेंगे, ये बाय द वे प्ले स्टोर और ऐप स्टोर दोनों पे अवेलेबल है। आप जाके चेक करेंगे तो आप डिफरेंस नहीं बता पाएंगे कि ये कोई डीफाई पर बेस्ड ऐप है, या आपको ये हेल्प करती है डीफाई एप्लीकेशन को एक्सेस करने में, कोई डिफरेंस नहीं है। आप iOS और प्ले स्टोर पे ये अवेलेबल है। सो आप जाके अकाउंट वगैरह क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। इस तरीके का बेसिकली इनका यूजर इंटरफेस दिखाई देता है। आप बता नहीं पाएंगे कि ये एक डीफाई एप्लीकेशन है या फिर नॉर्मल एप्लीकेशन है। अगर हम इसके फीचर्स की बात करें दोस्तों, तो यहां पे आप लोगों को दो मेन फीचर मिल जाते हैं जो आपकी हेल्प करते हैं टू क्रिएट अ पैसिव इनकम, ठीक है। अर्न और ट्रेड का बाय और डिपॉजिट जो ऑप्शंस है वो भी आप लोगों को यहाँ पे मिल ही जाते हैं। इसके अलावा मल्टी एक्सचेंज सपोर्ट भी आपको यहाँ पे मिल जाता है। तो मतलब अगर आपका वॉलेट दो एक्सचेंज को सपोर्ट कर रहा है, आपके पैसे तीसरे एक्सचेंज में आपका फंड्स, तो वो प्रॉब्लम भी ये सॉल्व करता है कि यहाँ पे आप लोगों को मल्टी एक्सचेंज जो सपोर्ट यहाँ पे मिलता है। तो अर्न सेक्शन की बात करते हैं दोस्तों कि यहाँ पे हमारे लिए क्या है दोस्तों। जब आप अर्न सेक्शन पे क्लिक करोगे दोस्तों, तो यहाँ पे आप लोगों को स्टेकिंग का एक ऑप्शन मिलता है। बैंक्स वगैरह पे एफडी जनरली सबको पता है कि एफडीज कैसे काम करती है। आप अपना पैसा बैंक के पास रखते हैं, बैंक उस पर आपको इंटरेस्ट देता है। तो यही कॉन्सेप्ट दोस्तों क्रिप्टो वर्ल्ड में भी जो है अप्लाई हो सकता है थ्रू स्टेकिंग, जहां पे आप किसी एक कॉइन या टोकन को होल्ड करके रखते हैं, उसमें आपको इंटरेस्ट मिलता है। एंड यू डोंट हैव टू डू एनी जॉब, आपको कोई ट्रेड नहीं करना है, आपको कुछ नहीं करना है, राइट। सबसे सिंपलर वे है अगर आप इससे पैसिव इनकम क्रिएट करना चाहते हैं तो वो यही है। देखिए मेरे सोशल मीडिया पे ना मिलियंस ऑफ फॉलोअर्स है। ज्यादातर लोग मुझसे क्या पूछते हैं कि सर क्रिप्टो ना मतलब अच्छा सही तो टेक्नोलॉजी है, सिक्योर भी है, बट वॉलेटाइल बहुत है, रिस्क बहुत सारा है, तो उसको कैसे सॉल्व किया जाए। तो स्टेकिंग एक ऑप्शन है जिससे आप रिस्क कम कर सकते हैं यहाँ पे, राइट, रिस्क मैनेज कर सकते हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ पे आप लोगों को जो रिटर्न्स है बता दिए जाते हैं। तो जैसे कि एग्जांपल लेते हैं कि हम USDT जो टोकन है, अगर आप उस पर क्लिक करोगे तो यहाँ पे आप लोगों को परसेंटेज दिया हुआ है सामने कि कितने परसेंटेज आपको रिटर्न यहाँ पे मिल सकता है। जैसे USDT की बात करें तो 5.52 एनुअल परसेंटेज यील्ड है, यानी कि एनुअल रिटर्न आपको यहाँ मिल रहा है, राइट। उसके बाद आप नीचे ऑप्शंस देखेंगे पेयर्स के, जो USDT के साथ बने हुए हैं, जहां पे आपका पैसा इन्वेस्ट होता है, और उसमें क्या रिटर्न आप लोगों को मिल रहा है वो भी सामने आप लोगों को दिखा रहे हैं। जैसे कि आप देख सकते हैं USDT BUSD में आपको 14.72% का यहाँ पे रिटर्न मिल रहा है, USD BNB पे 4.47% का रिटर्न मिल रहा है। सो ये एक एग्जाम्पल है दोस्तों कि आपके पास कंट्रोल है कि आपको किस में इन्वेस्ट करना है। यहाँ पे जो सिस्टम है, ये प्लेटफॉर्म आपको ये नहीं कह रहा कि आपको पैसा कहीं और इन्वेस्ट करना है, ये आप डिसाइड करोगे अपने रिस्क एपेटाइट से कि आपको अपना पैसा कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करना है, कैसे इन्वेस्ट करना है। तो जैसा कि मैंने आप लोगों को बताया था कि ऑक्टो के थ्रू आप डी एप्स को डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस की एप्लीकेशन को एक्सेस कर सकते हो, वो इस तरीके से कर सकते हो। यहाँ पे कंट्रोल आपके पास है, यहाँ प्लेटफॉर्म डिसाइड नहीं कर रहा है, एंड दैट मेक्स ऑक्टो ऐप डिफरेंट फ्रॉम अदर एप्लीकेशन प्रेजेंट इन द मार्केट। सो आप देख सकते हैं, आप किसी पे भी क्लिक करेंगे दोस्तों तो उसके बाद आप लोगों से पूछेगा आपको कितना इन्वेस्ट करना है, रिस्क डिटेल्स आपसे पूछेगा, स्टेकिंग डिटेल्स आप लोगों को यहाँ पे दिखाएगा। सारी चीजें ट्रांसपेरेंट है दोस्तों, कोई चीजें यहाँ पे आप लोगों से छुपाएगा नहीं, जो कि ये प्लेटफॉर्म इसका आप कह सकते हैं कि एक बड़ा एडवांटेज है डीफाई का, कि यहाँ पे चीजें जो है बहुत ही ट्रांसपेरेंट रहती है, राइट। सो यहाँ पे आप सारी चीजें चेक करने के बाद आप डायरेक्टली इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं अपने मोबाइल फोन से भी। और अगर आप किसी पेयर्स में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं तो पेयर्स में इन्वेस्ट करने का भी तरीका यही है। आप जैसे कि चेक कर सकते हैं कि आपको किसी भी पेयर पे क्लिक करना है, उसके बाद उससे रिलेटेड सारी की सारी इंफॉर्मेशन आपको दिख जाएगी कि उसका टाइप क्या है, उसमें कितनी फीस आपको चार्ज हो रही है, कितना वॉल्यूम रहा है 24 आवर्स में, वो सारी की सारी चीजें आप आसानी से चेक कर सकते हैं और यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली इन्वेस्ट भी कर सकते हैं। सो ये आप देखेंगे कि एक बेस्ट एग्जाम्पल है जिससे आप एक्सेस कर सकते हैं। ऑक्टो जो एक एग्जाम्पल हम आप लोगों को यहाँ पे दिखा रहे हैं जिससे आसानी से एक्सेस किया जा सकता है, मतलब डिसेंट्रलाइज फाइनेंस की एप्लीकेशंस को। अब इसके अलावा अदर कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी है यहाँ पे हमारे पास? ऑफ कोर्स ट्रेडिंग तो हमारे पास एक अपॉर्चुनिटी है ही है। जो यहाँ पे क्रिप्टो में ट्रेड करना चाहता है वो भी यहाँ से ट्रेड कर सकता है, वो हमने आप लोगों को ऑलरेडी दिखा दिया था। तो अभी ऑक्टो में अगर आप देखोगे तो ये दो मेन फीचर्स है जिसके थ्रू आप यहाँ पे यू कैन क्रिएट अ पैसिव इनकम ऑल्सो। आज की डेट में पैसिव इनकम इज अ रिक्वायरमेंट नाउअडेज, क्योंकि अगर आप ये नहीं करोगे सो यू कांट एबल टू मेक सेव मनी। तो इसीलिए अगर हम कुछ एडवांटेजेस की बात करें दोस्तों, तो ट्रांसपेरेंसी एंड सिक्योरिटी नंबर 1 एडवांटेज है इस पूरे के पूरे इकोसिस्टम का, जिस पर ऑक्टो ऐप भी बेस्ड है। इसके अलावा फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन है, मतलब यहाँ पे एंट्री लेना बहुत आसान है, बहुत कम यहाँ पे रिक्वायरमेंट है और उसके साथ आप यहाँ पे एंट्री ले सकते हैं, इसको यूज कर सकते हैं पूरे के पूरे इकोसिस्टम को, जिसमें लेंडिंग, जिसमें अदर फीचर्स भी यहाँ पे इन्वॉल्व हो सकते हैं। इसके अलावा अगर हम बात करें कि यहाँ पे मिडिल मैन तो कोई होता नहीं है, तो जो इंटरमीडिएटरीज है वो सारे एलिमिनेट हो जाते हैं स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट की वजह से। साथ ही साथ इजीली एक्सेसिबल भी है, जैसा कि हमने आप लोगों को अभी बताया कि आप iOS और प्ले स्टोर पे इसको आसानी से एक्सेस भी कर सकते हो। अगर बात करें कुछ डाउन साइड्स की, हर चीज के डाउन साइड्स होते हैं, इसके भी कुछ डाउन साइड्स है। वो क्या है दोस्तों? देखो कुछ ना कुछ टेक्नोलॉजिकल डाउन साइड्स तो है ही है, वो सारी चीजें सही हो सकती है फ्यूचर में, बट इसका सबसे बड़ा अगर हम बात करें डाउन साइड की तो वो ये है कि आपको यहाँ पे रिसर्च करके अपने हिसाब से डिसीजन लेना पड़ेगा। तो यू हैव टू बी 100% श्योर, दैट्स अ वन थिंग जो मुझे लगती है। बाकी अगर मैं अपने व्यूज की बात करूं तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है दोस्तों कि डीफाई जो है करंट फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम को सही करने आया है। देखो मैं ये नहीं कहूंगा कि जो करंट फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम है इतना बेकार है कि मतलब हाँ उसमें चैलेंजेस है, मैं ये मानता हूं, लेकिन अगर आप देखेंगे कि अगर ये बहुत बेकार होता तो 100 साल से भी ज्यादा का ये चल नहीं रहा होता। बट नाउ अ टाइम कि इसको यहाँ पे अपग्रेड की जरूरत है, राइट? और इसी को लेके अगर हम बात करें तो डीफाई यही चीज सामने प्रेजेंट करता है हमारे, कि ये हमारे करंट फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम को एक अपग्रेड जो है ऑफर करता है। तो ये आने वाले समय में आप लोगों को इंप्लीमेंट होता हुआ नजर आएगा आने वाले 3 से 4 सालों में। इससे रिलेटेड बहुत सारी एप्लीकेशंस आप लोगों को नजर आएंगी और बहुत सारे ऐसे फीचर्स नजर आएंगे जिससे लोगों को बहुत सारा बेनिफिट होगा, उनके सामने बहुत सारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज निकल के सामने आएंगी। सो मैं आज की डेट में इंटरनेट पे काम करता हूं, मेरी एक मार्केटिंग एजेंसी भी है। आज से 10 साल पहले कोई ये नहीं कह सकता था कि सोशल मीडिया भी एक पूरा का पूरा करियर हो सकता है, उसमें भी मार्केटिंग की जा सकती है। आज की डेट में ब्रांड्स आर स्पेंडिंग करोड्स ऑफ रुपीज ऑन इंटरनेट फॉर मार्केटिंग। बट आज से 10 साल 15 साल पहले ये पॉसिबल नहीं था। उस समय ना ही इतना इंटरनेट था, ना ही इतनी अवेयरनेस थी। वैसे ही दोस्तों आज की डेट में भी ये जो चीज है वो बढ़ रही है और आने वाले समय में और तेजी से बढ़ेगी। सो इट्स बेटर कि हम इस चीज को समझना शुरू करें। टेक्नोलॉजी समझना वो एक अलग चीज है, वो वही समझेंगे जिनको उससे रिलेटेड काम करना है। बट एक एंड यूजर के पर्सपेक्टिव से मैं आप लोगों को बताऊं तो आप कॉन्सेप्ट समझे, उसके बाद जितना प्रैक्टिकल इंप्लीमेंट चीजों को करते हुए देखेंगे या करके देखेंगे उतना आपके लिए बेनिफिट रहेगा। सो दिस इज माई प्रेजेंटेशन ऑन decentralized finance investment. Now a time for question answer sessions. So अगर आप लोगों के कुछ क्वेश्चन है आप पूछ सकते हैं। Yes.
हेलो प्रवीण भाई।
हाय
मजे में?
बिल्कुल मजा में यार।
Perfect. I just wanted to ask, when we talk about security in DeFi, any thoughts on that? Because if we see the market cap of DeFi, it's roughly $50 billion, और last year ही 5 से 6 billion dollar का हैक हुआ था, which is like 10% of the total market cap. तो अगर इतना रिस्क है हैक हो रहे तो एक रिटेल ट्रेडर क्यों जाएगा DeFi के अंदर?
देखो करंट ये जो अगर आप हमारा बैंकिंग सिस्टम देते हो इसकी जो मार्केट वैल्यू है ये बहुत ज़्यादा है जो अभी अगर हम इसको देख रहे हैं एंड दिस इज अ स्टार्टिंग स्टेज. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि इसमें कोई सिक्योरिटी कंसर्न्स ही नहीं है बट अगर आप कंपेयर करते हो इसको करंट फाइनेंशियल सिस्टम से सो ये बहुत ज़्यादा सिक्योर है. सो ये एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ मुझे लगती है यहाँ पे.
I mean, बहुत ज़्यादा सिक्योर है और 10% मार्केट कैप हैक हो रही है. Can you like just elaborate this a little bit?
So, yeah.
I'll just add, I think you're right. बहुत hacks हो रहे हैं. But ये अगर आप देखो financial system has evolved over 150 years. उस 150 years में बहुत disasters अगर आप जाके देखोगे. DeFi has been only there for 3 or 4 years, right? But जो इसमें जो best part ये है कि एक बार एक hack होता है, उसको अगर block करते हो, तो actually वो वाला hack फिर से किसी भी application पे नहीं होता. Everybody blocks it. जबकि बैंक में क्या होता है एक हैक होता है वो वाला एक हैक 10 साल तक हर बैंक में होता रहेगा. सो द स्पीड ऑफ एवोल्यूशन इज वेरी फास्ट हियर. 100% इट इज अर्ली स्टेजेस बट इट विल एक्चुअली बिकम बेटर एंड बेटर मच फास्टर. सो आई एम वेरी होपफुल 1 or 2 years में ये सारी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएंगी. टीथिंग प्रॉब्लम तो होती है हर टेक्नोलॉजी में. कोई ऐसा कोड नहीं होता बग नहीं होता.
यस. Hi.
Firstly, thank you for such a wonderful session. It was really, we got to know a lot of things. मेरा एक छोटा सा सवाल है. जैसे हम कहते हैं कि हम स्टॉक मार्केट और इक्विटी में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं. ओके, आई एम सॉरी, आई डिड नॉट नो, आई हैड टू स्टैंड अप. ओके, सो जैसे हम स्टॉक मार्केट में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं तो स्टॉक मार्केट में हम किसी एक कंपनी का शेयर खरीदते हैं, उसकी एक अंडरलाइंग वैल्यू है, राइट? दैट कंपनी इज डूइंग समथिंग और वो कुछ कर रही है जिसका एक पोटेंशियल हमें दिख रहा है. What I want to understand from you कि जब हम DeFi में किसी भी से एक स्पेसिफिक करेंसी को परचेज करते हैं, राइट, तो उसमें वो क्या अंडरलाइंग है जिसकी वजह से उस करेंसी में वो अपसाइड दिखे, या थोड़ा अगर आप इसके ऊपर कुछ बताएं तो इट विल बी रियली हेल्पफुल.
एज फार एज आई नो जो करेंसीज है यहाँ पे जो क्रिप्टो करेंसीज है दैट वर्क्स ऑन अ पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट और सिस्टम और यहाँ पे जो उसकी वैल्यू डिफाइन होती है दैट इज बेस्ड ऑन कि उसकी मार्केट में डिमांड कितनी है और वो किस प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व कर रहा है, वो किस बेसिस में मार्केट पे आया है, राइट? दिस इज द मेन थिंग जहाँ पे हम.
सो जस्ट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर दैट मीन्स कि अगर कोई स्पेसिफिक करेंसी, दैट मीन्स इफ समबडी इज बिल्डिंग अ प्रोजेक्ट इन क्रिप्टो, he needs to necessarily have a token associated with that project. Is that right?
I think I would say Gaurav to answer this because ये technical side और ज़्यादा संभाल रहे.
No, I would say no. But mostly जो token है, it needs to have a project behind it. So it's the other way around.
Okay.
So every token should have a project. I mean, there are dog tokens which don't have a project behind it. वो अलग बात है. But mostly everything should have a project behind it. And like he said, you should do your own research and go to the underlying project. कि where is the value coming from?
Value coming from.
And that's what. But there is no one single answer. I think you have to get into intricacies to actually, just like any stock, you have to research that.
Thank you so much.
Hi Praveen, hi everyone. Thanks for the insights on the Web3. It was insightful session. So in every financial system, there has to be an authenticity of every party. As you said, in the centralized finance, it's the insurance companies, it's the banks that everybody has a credibility or everybody has an authenticity score. So when we talk about the decentralized finance, how would the credit agencies or how would the I would say the agencies that would define a particular credit score of a particular participant in the market would come into the play?
So as I told you,
because it's a large market or it's a large audience that is been getting catered over this technology.
Exactly. So as I explained कि यहाँ पे हम smart contract का use करते हैं and smart contracts can interact with each other. तो जब हम एक फाइनेंशियल एप्लीकेशन तैयार कर रहे हैं या फिर एक सिस्टम तैयार कर रहे हैं तो उसमें हम बहुत सारे स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स को डिफाइन करेंगे जिसकी फंक्शनैलिटीज अलग अलग है, राइट? तो जैसा आप कह रहे हो कि अगर हमको किसी को यहाँ पे डिफाइन करना है कि दोनों में रिलेशन क्या है तो हम स्मार्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स को कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं एक दूसरे से एंड दैट्स हाउ इट कैन सॉल्व द दिस प्रॉब्लम.
Just to add, right, I think हमें रेटिंग चाहिए होती है when you don't know what's happening there. In a smart contract, you understand everything. Everything is transparent. So you don't need a rating or a label because there is no black box behind it. So that's really the big difference, I think, between traditional finance and this. The smart contract is like fully transparent.
Any other? Yes.
Yes, so I have a question around what are your views around on-ramp and off-ramp? Because I guess currently the biggest challenge to enter into DeFi space is like actually buying a crypto and selling crypto. So how is it? Like also like I guess government is not much comfortable with it as well because of the crypto regulations and all. So how we can solve this?
So I would request my friend Gaurav, because he is the founder of Octo and जो insights ये दे पाएंगे, I think मुझसे better ये दे पाएंगे. So please.
No, I think you're right. It's a big problem and rightly so. So जहाँ पे भी real world assets हैं और जो crypto में जाते हैं, those are the boundaries that should be very heavily regulated, and the government is doing the right thing by making sure, because there's real money and real value that can be lost. So the government is still trying to figure out the right regulations around it. Hence, it's not the easiest right now. आपको 2-3 बार छलांगे लगाने की पड़ती है, एक पैर पे खड़ा होना पड़ता है, काफी कुछ करना पड़ता है. But it will get better, definitely. But the intent is right that real money should be protected, and how it gets into crypto should be regulated. But it's there are ways which you have to do it. It's just not easy right now. That's the only thing. So it's good friction, I would say.
So that's it for now. अभी अगर कोई questions रह भी गए हैं तो we have a sessions अभी बाकी है. So you आगे के sessions में आपके सारे problems I think solve हो जाएंगे क्योंकि बहुत सारे panel discussions भी बाकी है. So thank you so much guys.
Thank you so much for that wonderful masterclass, and you held the audience captive for over an hour, and that was a brilliant masterclass, I would say. और आपने इतनी interestingly और इतनी सरलता से जो चीजें explain करी हैं, but I am sure there will be questions जो कि tea time पे address हो सकते हैं. So this is your time to actually mob him. So thank you for that discussion, and please make your way outside, ladies and gentlemen, for some tea. And but we'll be back in 20 minutes. So your countdown is 20 minutes. And once you're back, then we have our panel discussions lined up for you for this evening. A gentle reminder again, we have created the Telegram channel, Namaste Web3 के लिए हमने खास बनाया है. यहाँ आपको updates मिलेंगे, बाकी तमाम चीजें, information यहाँ मिलेंगी. So just scan it, and we see you in the next 20 minutes.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions. Here's the thing about change. It's always happening. Mere fragments of time chipping away little by little at reality as we know it. Until, when we least expect, change does what it does best. It arrives. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves on the cusp of taking our next big leap. A whole new world entirely at our fingertips. Only this time, more open, more equal, more inclusive, and more fair. With the power to liberate in your hands and the responsibility to uphold its vision in ours. We are Coindcx. Catalysts of change in a new digital world. Founded in 2018, we are India's leading crypto exchange. Trusted by over 1.3 crore users. Supported by many top investors. And the hard work of more than 600 employees. Our efforts ensure equal access to a plethora of revolutionary new digital pursuits. And enable interactions with an all-new, decentralized digital world. Our products are safe, secure, and compliant. We also support many promising new ventures that help strengthen the broader digital ecosystem. And for those who seek it, we offer a comprehensive crypto education platform. A decentralized new digital world is upon us. Change is upon us. The only question is, Are we willing to embrace it? Coindcx. Change starts together. Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
In the world of internet, security, transparency and decentralization is the future. Web3 is the epitome of all of this in one. Businesses of all sizes, including large corporations and emerging startups, are all embracing Web3 landscape. But how is Web3 different than the internet that we are currently using? How is Web3 the future of the internet? It answers to all your questions and deep dive into Web3 with the experts only app. Coindcx and Forbes India presents Namaste Web3. Making India Web3 ready.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
The latest innovation in the internet space, Web3, is a revolutionary technology that is changing the way we interact online. It offers more secure, transparent, and efficient decentralized applications that have the potential to transform various industries. Coindcx and Forbes India designed Namaste Web3 to introduce the potential of Web3 across India and showcase its benefits.
India's presidency of the G20 comes at a very opportune time in recent years, particularly since the pandemic, the image of India has dramatically changed around the world.
Inflection point of the industry where the decisions that we take now, right, are going to decide the next decade.
What binds us all? What binds all of us into one, is the common challenges that we have in front of us.
India has phenomenal developers and builders in the Web3 space. Go-to market from India can be a little bit of a challenge. Even Web2 companies being built out of India, solving for the world, did have their fair share of challenges.
Like right now, we have visibility into finance, but there'll be something in gaming and there'll be something in travel, and I heard of very interesting use cases. So we don't even know of the use cases that will come out.
So these companies which are taking these incremental steps like getting into metaverse, setting up space, so they are kind of warming up for what is to come.
This initiative will travel to major cities across India to hold a wide range of future-forward discussions around the innovation and how it can aid business growth in various sectors.
10.6 million users making money of 75 million. I think great case studies in terms of what can it be done with the help of something called as a digital assets.
It has already been successful in 3 cities, Bengaluru, New Delhi and Pune, where experts and industry leaders discussed various aspects of Web3.
Where individuals will have control. A developer base of approximately 2.8, just under 3 million 2 years ago. It is also projected to have the most developers by 2023.
Our generation is lucky that we are witnessing a massive infrastructure build-up in India, both physical and digital.
Including DeFi, Metaverse, D-App development, empowering developers, the role of Web3 in India's tech capability and fulfilling the $5 trillion economy vision.
Appetite for digital platform optimum use has become all India pervasive.
As a policy maker, I am more on the potential of the technology, for which awareness and knowledge about the technology is important. And that is what we in Niti Aayog try to focus on. And when we talk about technology, we not, at least from where I am coming, I like to see what the technology can help us achieve.
Ideas were also exchanged on leveraging India's G20 presidency to develop VDA regulatory principles.
I think there are fantastic people in our country who have tremendous experience of working within the Indian and international regulatory system, and we should be harnessing their talent more. Instead of them being on the board of some big finance company, they should be, the Indian government should absorb them and think about, the regulation of for the future.
And if we are talking about transparency as innovators, this is the same transparency that we need to show to the regulations as well, to the regulators as well.
And I think talent shouldn't have that gender badge or the gender divide at all, when it comes to whether it's blockchain or whether it comes to Web2, whether it comes to AI now.
But this is just the beginning. More insightful conversations await in different cities. Join us at Namaste Web3 and be a part of the future of the internet.
Well, there's just so much to be done, but I can tell you one thing, with all the events that we've been doing and all the cities that we've been going to and the kind of mix that we get into and the kind of feedback that we get with these events that we're doing, at least what we're doing is getting all stakeholders under one roof, and there's a lot of conversation, I can assure you, that is going on with this.
Forbes India and Coindcx present Namaste Web3, making India Web3 ready. Since the last 2 decades, Forbes India has carved out an unparalleled niche as an influential medium. By igniting conversations that drive systemic change in business, culture, and society. Creating multi-dimensional experiences
In the world of internet, security, transparency and decentralization is the future. Web3 is the epitome of all of this in one. Businesses of all sizes, including large corporations and emerging startups, are all embracing Web3 landscape. But how is Web3 different than the internet that we are currently using? How is Web3 the future of the internet? It answers to all your questions and deep dive into Web3 with the experts only app. Coindcx and Forbes India presents Namaste Web3, making India Web3 ready.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions. Here's the thing about change. It's always happening. Mere fragments of time chipping away little by little at reality as we know it. Until, when we least expect, change does what it does best. It arrives. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves on the cusp of taking our next big leap. A whole new world entirely at our fingertips. Only this time, more open, more equal, more inclusive, and more fair. With the power to liberate in your hands and the responsibility to uphold its vision in ours. We are Coindcx. Catalysts of change in a new digital world. Founded in 2018, we are India's leading crypto exchange. Trusted by over 1.3 crore users. Supported by many top investors. And the hard work of more than 600 employees. Our efforts ensure equal access to a plethora of revolutionary new digital pursuits. And enable interactions with an all-new, decentralized digital world. Our products are safe, secure, and compliant. We also support many promising new ventures that help strengthen the broader digital ecosystem. And for those who seek it, we offer a comprehensive crypto education platform. A decentralized new digital world is upon us. Change is upon us. The only question is, are we willing to embrace it? Coindcx. Change starts together. Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
The latest innovation in the internet space, Web3, is a revolutionary technology that is changing the way we interact online. It offers more secure, transparent, and efficient decentralized applications that have the potential to transform various industries. Coindcx and Forbes India designed Namaste Web3 to introduce the potential of Web3 across India and showcase its benefits.
India's presidency of the G20 comes at a very opportune time. In recent years, particularly since the pandemic, the image of India has dramatically changed around the world.
Inflection point of the industry where the decisions that we take now, right, are going to decide the next decade.
What binds us all? What binds all of us into one, is the common challenges that we have in front of us.
India has phenomenal developers and builders in the Web3 space. Go-to market from India can be a little bit of a challenge. Even Web2 companies being built out of India, solving for the world, did have their fair share of challenges.
Like right now we have visibility into finance, but there'll be something in gaming and there'll be something in travel, and I heard of very interesting use cases. So we don't even know of the use cases that will come out.
So these companies which are taking these incremental steps like getting into metaverse, setting up space, so they are kind of warming up for what is to come.
This initiative will travel to major cities across India to hold a wide range of future-forward discussions around the innovation and how it can aid business growth in various sectors.
10.6 million users making money of 75 million. I think great case studies in terms of what can it be done with the help of something called as a digital assets.
It has already been successful in 3 cities, Bengaluru, New Delhi and Pune, where experts and industry leaders discussed various aspects of Web3.
Where individuals will have control. A developer base of approximately 2.8, just under 3 million 2 years ago. It is also projected to have the most developers by 2023.
Our generation is lucky that we are witnessing a massive infrastructure build-up in India, both physical and digital.
Including DeFi, Metaverse, D-app development, empowering developers, the role of Web3 in India's tech capability and fulfilling the $5 trillion economy vision.
This appetite for digital platform optimum use has become all India pervasive.
As a policy maker, I am more on the potential of the technology, for which awareness and knowledge about the technology is important. And that is what we in Niti Aayog try to focus on. And when we talk about technology, we not, at least from where I am coming, I like to see what the technology can help us achieve.
Ideas were also exchanged on leveraging India's G20 presidency to develop VDA regulatory principles.
I think there are fantastic people in our country who have tremendous experience of working within the Indian and international regulatory system, and we should be harnessing their talent more. Instead of them being on the board of some big finance company, they should be, the Indian government should absorb them and think about, the regulation of for the future.
And if we are talking about transparency as innovators, this is the same transparency that we need to show to the regulations as well, to the regulators as well.
And I think talent shouldn't have that gender badge or the gender divide at all. When it comes to whether it's blockchain or whether it comes to Web2, whether it comes to AI now.
But this is just the beginning. More insightful conversations await in different cities. Join us at Namaste Web3 and be a part of the future of the internet.
Well, there's just so much to be done, but I can tell you one thing, with all the events that we've been doing and all the cities that we've been going to and the kind of mix that we get into and the kind of feedback that we get with these events that we're doing, at least what we're doing is getting all stakeholders under one roof. And there's a lot of conversation, I can assure you, that is going on with this.
Forbes India and Coindcx present Namaste Web3, making India Web3 ready.
In the world of internet, security, transparency, and decentralization is the future. Web3 is the epitome of all of this in one. Businesses of all sizes, including large corporations and emerging startups, are all embracing Web3 landscape. But how is Web3 different than the internet that we are currently using? How is Web3 the future of the internet? It answers to all your questions and deep dive into Web3 with the experts only app. Coindcx and Forbes India presents Namaste Web3, making India Web3 ready.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions. Here's the thing about change. It's always happening. Mere fragments of time chipping away little by little at reality as we know it. Until, when we least expect, change does what it does best. It arrives. And all of a sudden, we find ourselves on the cusp of taking our next big leap. A whole new world entirely at our fingertips. Only this time, more open, more equal, more inclusive, and more fair. With the power to liberate in your hands and the responsibility to uphold its vision in ours. We are Coindcx. Catalysts of change in a new digital world. Founded in 2018, we are India's leading crypto exchange. Trusted by over 1.3 crore users. Supported by many top investors. And the hard work of more than 600 employees. Our efforts ensure equal access to a plethora of revolutionary new digital pursuits. And enable interactions with an all-new, decentralized digital world. Our products are safe, secure, and compliant. We also support many promising new ventures that help strengthen the broader digital ecosystem. And for those who seek it, we offer a comprehensive crypto education platform. A decentralized new digital world is upon us. Change is upon us. The only question is, are we willing to embrace it? Coindcx. Change starts together. Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
Are we all set? Fantastic. All right. Hello and a very warm welcome back to Namaste Web3, presented by Forbes India, Coindcx, supported by Bharat Web3 Association. Now, decentralized finance is set to revolutionize the financial industry in the next decade. DeFi offers benefits such as faster transactions, lower fees, greater transparency. And as DeFi continues to evolve and mature, it has the potential to transform traditional finance and offer new financial opportunities globally, right? Now, the next decade is poised to be a critical period for DeFi, as it grows and shapes the financial industry to better serve the needs of individuals and businesses. Now, before we start the proceedings for the evening, let's look at the journey so far of Namaste Web3.
The latest innovation in the internet space, Web3, is a revolutionary technology that is changing the way we interact online. It offers more secure, transparent, and efficient decentralized applications that have the potential to transform various industries. Coindcx and Forbes India designed Namaste Web3 to introduce the potential of Web3 across India and showcase its benefits.
India's presidency of the G20 comes at a very opportune time. In recent years, particularly since the pandemic, the image of India has dramatically changed around the world.
Inflection point of the industry where the decisions that we take now, right, are going to decide the next decade.
What binds us all? What binds all of us into one, is the common challenges that we have in front of us.
India has phenomenal developers and builders in the Web3 space. Go to market from India can be a little bit of a challenge. Even Web2 companies being built out of India, solving for the world, did have their fair share of challenges.
Right now we have visibility into finance, but there'll be something in gaming, and there'll be something in travel, and I heard of very interesting use cases. So we don't even know of the use cases that will come out.
So these companies which are taking these incremental steps like getting into metaverse, setting up space, so they are kind of warming up for what is to come.
This initiative will travel to major cities across India to hold a wide range of future-forward discussions around the innovation and how it can aid business growth in various sectors.
10.6 million users making money of 75 million. I think great case studies in terms of what can it be done with the help of something called as a digital assets.
It has already been successful in 3 cities, Bengaluru, New Delhi and Pune, where experts and industry leaders discuss various aspects of Web3.
When individuals will have control, a developer base of approximately 2.8, just under 3 million 2 years ago. It is also projected to have the most developers by 2023.
Our generation is lucky that we are witnessing a massive infrastructure build-up in India, both physical and digital.
Including DeFi, Metaverse, D-App development, empowering developers, the role of Web3 in India's tech capability and fulfilling the $5 trillion economy vision.
Appetite for digital platform optimum use has become all India policy.
As a policy maker, I am more on the potential of the technology, for which awareness and knowledge about the technology is important. And that is what we in Niti Aayog try to focus on. And when we talk about technology, we not, at least from where I am coming, I like to see what the technology can help us achieve.
Ideas were also exchanged on leveraging India's G20 presidency to develop VDA regulatory principles.
I think there are fantastic people in our country who have tremendous experience of working within the Indian and international regulatory system, and we should be harnessing their talent more. Instead of them being on the board of some big finance company, they should be, the Indian government should absorb them and think about, the regulation of for the future.
And if we are talking about transparency as innovators, this is the same transparency that we need to show to the regulations as well, to the regulators as well.
And I think talent shouldn't have that gender badge or the gender divide at all. when it comes to whether it's blockchain or whether it comes to Web2, whether it comes to AI now.
But this is just the beginning. More insightful conversations await in different cities. Join us at Namaste Web3 and be a part of the future of the internet.
Well, there's just so much to be done, but I can tell you one thing, with all the events that we've been doing and all the cities that we've been going to and the kind of mix that we get into and the kind of feedback that we get with these events that we're doing, at least what we're doing is getting all stakeholders under one roof, and there's a lot of conversation, I can assure, that is going on with this.
Forbes India and Coindcx present Namaste Web3, making India Web3 ready.
And as Manisha said, many conversations, and we have an evening packed of those conversations for all of you. But before that, to kickstart the evening, Manisha, may I have you here? Put your hands together for Manisha Gupta, Editor Commodities and Currencies, CNBC TV 18, for the welcome address.
Hello and a very warm welcome and Namaste Web3 Ahmedabad edition. Our earlier events in Pune, Bengaluru and Delhi got together the industry leaders and policymakers on the same platform. In Ahmedabad today, let's take a step ahead and converse about the revolution that decentralized finance can bring upon us and offer new financial opportunities globally. DeFi encompasses a wide range of financial applications that can be built on blockchain technology. This transition is taking place, and DeFi shouldn't be thought of as an interesting concept, but an active transformation that is taking place even as we speak here today. DeFi is indeed the future of finance, which is decentralized, transparent, and accessible. During the event today, we will explore new developments and innovations that are emerging, also discuss importance of user education in DeFi, as also the onboarding of the next 100 million. We hope to have great conversations and look forward to solutions with you here today at Namaste Web3, making India Web3 ready. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha, for that kickstart. And I think we're all set now. All right, blockchain technology. Well, it has the potential to revolutionize various public services, and we've been talking about that. By leveraging blockchain, public services can benefit from streamlined processes, reduced bureaucracy, and increased accountability. Now, transactions and records can be securely stored on the blockchain, ensuring transparency and eliminating the risk of data tampering or manipulation of any kind. Now, keeping that in mind, issuing caste certificates on blockchain has harnessed the immense power of blockchain technology to create transparent and efficient process and help explore the possibilities of Web3 in various public services in that domain, so to say. To understand more about issuing caste certificate on blockchain and its benefit, I would like to invite our special guest for the evening. Please welcome Mr. Shubham Gupta, IS Officer, Assistant Collector, Etapalli, and Project Officer, ITDP, Bhamrgad, Gadchiroli, Maharashtra. To tell you a little more about him, a graduate in economics from Delhi College of Arts and Commerce, University of Delhi, and masters in economics from Delhi School of Economics, Shubham has achieved great recognition at a very young age, and his brainchild project, issuing caste certificates on blockchain, has been recognized as one of the 75 best practices by Niti Aayog. Shubham, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to start today by mentioning an essay by Leonard Reed. It is titled I Pencil. In this essay, written as an autobiography of a pencil, attention is drawn to the extremely complex and large-scale human collaboration needed to manufacture even something as simple as a pencil. The pencil lists its constituents, including cedar, graphite, lacquer, and describes the interactions required to manufacture these two different processes across different components, from the complex machines that extract graphite to the sweeper in the factory. The book draws attention to the fact that there is no mastermind behind the interaction. The invisible hand of the market, with price signals being its only weapon, is able to collaborate amongst the various entities involved in the market, thinking selfishly of maximizing their own respective gains. Though the parable is instructive, in practice, disagreements could potentially occur at each step, leading to inefficiencies in the market. Such disputes are traditionally addressed by introducing trust in the system through a network of intermediaries to ensure that the entities adhere to something commonly referred to as rules of the game. We thus observe that the markets never needed a mastermind. It needed an impartial and trusted facilitator. Banks, regulatory bodies, and even government perform this role, often through employing a bureaucracy like me to ensure that rules and laws are adhered to and would have the power to recognize and even punish transgressions. Though with development and growth, the complexity of these systems increases, making them more susceptible to inefficiencies such as lack of transparency, rent-seeking, and apathy. Blockchains represent another form of intermediaries, code as a trusted intermediary. By encoding the rules of the game as computer programs, it allows different entities with different interests to collaborate on an immutable ledger. This aspect of blockchain technology is the harbinger in its true promise. It allows seamless transactions that promotes ease of doing business and also ease of living for citizens via disintermediation and reduction of ad hoc bureaucracy. Though it is a nascent technology, the World Economic Forum anticipates that 10% of global GDP will be stored on blockchain by the year 2025. India has a unique strategy for the government to take the lead in creating public digital infrastructure and allowing private sector innovation to leverage it for further development. Just as government builds the roads and sewerage infrastructure in a city and private enterprise constructs buildings. We have created a unique Indian model of digital foundational infrastructure such as Aadhaar, UPI, e-sign, DigiLocker, along with digitally enabled tax governance networks such as GSTN and digitally enabled health coverage such as Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana. From an Indian use case perspective, blockchain solutions are both appropriately suited for addressing several challenges and will also benefit from the infrastructure created already in line with the Indian vision of minimum government and maximum governance. Taking from there, let me take you through a small case study of a remote yet aspirational location of a project being initiated by us of issuing caste certificates on blockchain in Etapalli, in a district called Gadchiroli, which is often known not for technological initiatives, but primarily for its aspirations, for the remoteness of its locations, and also at times known for Naxal infestation. Please go ahead. Oh, can I change it? All right. So why Web3? It supports the state administration to curb the menace of forgeries. It identifies the right beneficiaries for government systems. When I joined my posting in Gadchiroli in Etapalli about 2 years back, about 23 months ago, the major problem that I encountered was that a lot of government schemes were given to the people on the basis of caste certificates. So in a way, we could say that the caste certificates in Gadchiroli being prominently scheduled tribe dominated was equivalent to an Aadhaar for the place that I was posted in. So it was very important for us that we needed to identify a mechanism wherein these certificates could not be forged or duplicated, and the benefits of the multiple government schemes that were being implemented there could go to the right beneficiaries in the right manner. And hence, it was very important that we had to identify a way to curb the menace of forgeries and identify. We also needed, like the Niti Aayog has been saying, that the government of India has been saying at multiple levels, we need a platform wherein we can decentralize all the government mechanisms. We can identify ways of ensuring deplatformation for resistance for citizens across multiple government schemes. We need publicly accessible information, which is still dependent on human trust, paper records, and data in government cloud repositories, and not easily accessible to the people. We need a transition from fiat information, it's true because I said so, to code-based information. Public blockchains are open state databases that anyone can audit, read, or write on. Public blockchains make the best ledger to commit, commit, and anchor citizen records through impartiality, reliability, immutability, transparency, and it's true democratization of not only government records, but of the entire governance structure in the right sense, because the people are really the owners of whatever the government is doing, and not the government, and not Definitely not the few of us one of whom is standing in front of you today. So why caste certificates, and why am I showing you a picture of Sula Vineyards? Because it's associated with the city where I was posted in and where this whole idea germinated inside me. I was posted in Nashik as Tehsildar. I don't know how many of you are aware, but it's a reasonably senior government officer posted at the block level in a particular district. And therein I had encountered a case in which some strong politician had managed to falsify a caste certificates. And because the government has strict regulations for transfer of government scheduled tribe lands, that person was able to falsify his caste certificate and claimed to be a scheduled tribe person, and was able to transact almost 100 acres of land from poor scheduled tribe farmers. And when I encountered this, I was just thinking about it, how can I correct the situation? That time I just had to pass an order to correct the situation, but I wanted to do more, and therein germinated the idea of doing something to ensure that this should never happen. And that's why I tried my hand with blockchain and Web3. Now, what are we doing here? So, caste certificates in Maharashtra, they are already issued by an online portal called Maha Online. They are internally trackable. Between government, we can track the data, their issuance, their dates and all that, but there is no easy mechanism for external parties to verify. In fact, let me just give you a small example. So, for example, like I said, caste certificate is a very important document for people belonging to scheduled tribes, and especially in a place which is extremely high proportion of scheduled tribes like Gadchiroli. It becomes very important because even if you want to go and take admission in a government college or school, and you want to claim the advantage of reservation, for which there is a certain set of number of seats which are demarcated for you, you need the caste certificate to be issued to, right? And whenever a beneficiary goes and submits a caste certificate to a particular college, the college writes a letter to me, me being posted as sub-divisional officer there, and it wants me to verify whether the caste certificate is authentic or not. Now, given the sense of bureaucracy that involves in this entire process, what generally happens is the person who wants to take an admission, he or she will go and grab that letter from the college and bring the letter to my office and then ask my office to issue a reply to that letter and then take the letter back to the college and ensure that the letter is authentic and please give me admission into that school or college, right? So the entire process takes about 15 to 20 days at the least, and this leads to nothing but some promising candidates losing a lot of valuable time of their life in gaining access to something which they are rightfully entitled to, right? So with this system, we wanted to build something wherein the people, external people like schools, colleges could easily verify the caste certificates, and the beneficiaries never needed to run back to and fro to the sub-divisional office as such. It cryptographically commits selective details of every caste certificate, so there are multiple details. We have given a glimpse of what all details we are capturing in this blockchain-based process. It generates a QR code which is unique, consisting of blockchain proofs which are embedded on each caste certificate. I'm going to show you how in the further slides. And there is an open verification system available on the government website of Gadchiroli district, which will enable the entities to instantly authenticate certificates with the help of public blockchain. How? So there are two dApps that we have developed. By the way, before we started this project, I had no idea what dApps were. So I had to actually read and educate myself quite a bit before I could understand how blockchains worked and how dApps worked, and how I had to actually go and explain to multiple people why I did this and what prompted me to educate myself on this. So we built something called an issuance dApp and a verification dApp. The issuance dApp is installed on the sub-divisional officer, who is the single point authority for the entire subdivision to issue caste certificates. And like I said, the verification dApp is hosted on the government website of Gadchiroli district. Now, what does the issuance dApp does? The PDF certificates are already generated by the Maha Online portal of the Maharashtra government. The issuance dApp parses the important field and calculate hashes, the SHA-256 hash of each field. These hashes are irreversible fingerprints of digital data. The issuance dApp further combines all the hashes together to generate a single hash, which is then hosted on the Polygon PS blockchain smart contract and digitally signed by the SDO. Upon successful upload this on the blockchain returns transaction data in the form of a QR code. I'm sorry, this is not working. Yeah. The issuance dApp generates a QR code consisting of blockchain transaction data and the important fields parsed originally to the certificate. This QR code is then appended to the original caste certificate like this. So this was the original certificate. The red boxes are the details that we have captured on the blockchain-enabled system with the help of hashing them. And then because we wanted to reduce the complete total storage space, we wanted to hash all the hashes in the single hash and then upload that on the blockchain system. And we appended a QR code. The QR code can be scanned through the government system, and anybody can get the knowledge of whether the certificate is authentic or not in just a span of 10 seconds instead of 20 to 30 days, what it used to take earlier. Verification tab. The process again is, like I said, hosted on the Gadchiroli District Administration. It reads entries from the QR code, this progressively hashes all certificate data, check the availability and validity of the final hash. If the final hash is found to be valid, it displays the fields fetched from the QR code to the user to allow us to understand whether the details which have been stored on the blockchain are also authentic or not, or do they belong to the particular beneficiary or not. So this is the verification portal, how it looks on the government website. This was the old certificate, and like I said, that's the new certificate. This is how the verification details are provided to us. This is the reason why we are providing all these basic details even in the verification mechanism, because we wanted to do away with another problem that we may have been encountered with. So any tampering done by the external party on QR code is going to immediately be caught, because the system will flag the data to us. And even if a malicious actor tries to create a fake caste certificate but cuts and pastes the original QR code on a fake caste certificate, we will still be able to catch it, because we will be able to see whether the details printed on the caste certificates and the details which are given to us on the portal are matching or not. So we wanted to do away with this problem also, and that's why we wanted to create this sort of verification mechanism. Now you can see there is a download report button also. So any external party which wants to verify the caste certificate, like I gave the example of school and college, they can simply download the report from here. It will give you all the details of when the certificate was issued, on which date, by which party, what was the name of the SDO and everything, and the entire process can be streamlined and the time can be reduced. This is the entire flowchart of how the system works. I'm going to save a little time here because I think we are running behind, and just skip this slide and we can probably look at it later. What are the improvements? The improvement is, like I said, open verification and reduction is fraud. That was the primary purpose that we're trying to solve there. Improvements in privacy, because now the government and the people, there are so many people involved in verification mechanism in between. They have completely been eliminated, and just the party who is interested, which is the external school or college, and the person who has issued, and the person who belongs to. Only 3 parties are involved in the entire process of verification of the caste certificate. It's deplatformation resistance, because once the data goes on the blockchain, it's nearly impossible for anybody to tamper with the data. And of course, it's open innovation. When we started this project, everybody was very skeptical, because everybody came up to me and told me, ki, what is wrong with you? Why are you trying to do something called Web3 and blockchain, where people are just talking about doubling farmers' income, and people are talking about, ki, we need houses, we need roads, we need proper health infrastructure, we need better education, and why are you talking about blockchain? Because when I started, I just thought that it will be a learning experience for me, and 2, because I thought that just because this region is relatively remote and this is an aspirational place for Maharashtra and for the entire country, why should the people not know about blockchain? Why should they have to always remain 10 years behind while learning about Web3 and blockchain, right? So they can always be a step ahead as compared to rest of the country and be more proactive in learning about latest technologies. And I think that is what is represented here in this slide, that we got so much recognition from a lot of media, that people were so appreciative that you could at least think of doing this in a remote place as Gadchiroli, and we could leverage Web3 to create something which was not only important but also educative for the people of Gadchiroli. They could take pride in something which was their own, and they could take pride in something which was a very positive intervention done on behalf of them in a very remote place in the country. And like Manisha ji also spoke about it in her introduction of me, that we were very fortunate to get this project recognized in the 75 best practices in social sector, jointly evaluated by the Niti Aayog and the UNDP. I just thought that towards the end, I'll take you across a couple of very interesting Web3 examples which are being used in public service delivery across the country through district level and state level and country level interventions. Even some of them are by Niti Aayog. One of them is creating a new system to manage land record transfer and ownership. And let me just tell you, these are all pilots going on. I really hope that some of you will pick these up and develop them into full-fledged code systems and come back to us and ask us to implement this for public service delivery. These are all pilots which I'm going to take you through right now. So one of them is creating a new system to manage land record transfer and ownership. It is being implemented or piloted by the Niti Aayog in the Union Territory of Chandigarh. All the land documents that are available in the Union Territory of Chandigarh, they are all put on blockchain. So because it is one of the most important document that any person can have. It not only is about ownership, it is also about financial security and other security in general. Pharmaceutical drug supply chain, self-regulation of the sector through blockchain-enabled trust. What the government of India did in this was very interesting. They didn't take help of any of the government organization at all, actually. They brought in all the people who were involved in the supply chain, like the supply chain I was talking about when I told you about the autobiography of a pencil. They brought in vendors, they brought in API manufacturers, they brought in pharma companies, they brought in sales channels, distributors, everybody. And they asked them to entirely blockchain-enable the supply chain so that no inefficiency should occur in the system at any step whatsoever. This was the pilot which was actually very successful, and right now it's in process of being replicated at a much higher level. SuperCert, this is another very interesting initiative by ISB and BitGram, actually also in, I think, in advice by the Niti Aayog. It's an anti-fraud identify intelligence blockchain solution for educational certificates issued by the ISB. Kaveri blockchain, it's actually a government of Maharashtra, government of Karnataka initiative in the districts of Tumkuru and Devnagari. All the property registrations in 512 sub-registrar offices in these two districts are right now, as we speak, enabled on blockchain, and every document is immutable. Certificates, as you will more popularly called BMC, all the certificates of BMC right now, marriage certificate, development right, building completion, all the certificates issued by BMC right now have been enabled on blockchain. In fact, I think they have gone a step ahead and made it much more user-friendly. They have also developed some button on the certificate itself, which you can just press the button if you have access to the PDF, and that will that will take you to the verification portal, and it can, like I said, can be verified instantly in just a span of 10 seconds. I really like this statement. When I wrote the case study of Etapalli blockchain project, I really liked this, and when I was writing this, the source of truth for citizen records will no longer be the dusty files racked in government offices or the administrator governed data on cloud repositories. Instead, it is the undeniable cryptographically verified data proof stored on chain. With this, I end my conversation with you here. I will be very happy to Thank you. I will be very happy to take some questions. I don't know, I have time. If anybody wants to ask anything, I'll be happy. Otherwise, we can just, I think we can just, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful address, Shubham. Very informative. All right. I want to take a moment to thank the lovely audience of Ahmedabad who have shown their enthusiasm towards the new age of internet that is being brought about by the Web3 community in India. And today here at Namaste Web3, we have an incredible lineup of panelists and presenters who are going to take you on a journey of DeFi, some of your very own, some from Ahmedabad, some have flown specially for you. We have for you 2 panel discussions today with industry leaders who will deep dive into the world of DeFi, followed along with a fiery fireside chat. But before we move to our first panel, I want to bring to your notice the kiosks that have been set outside by Octo from the house of Coindcx. So if you want to explore the world of DeFi, you must visit these kiosks that are outside. And we also have some very fun games set up outside. I'm hoping that you got a chance to spend a little time outside while you were at tea. No, you weren't? You weren't able to see that? All right, so we will also have that section open again. All right, we have also created a Telegram channel, Namaste Web3 Movement, where we will keep the dialogue on with all of you, keep updating you about our next chapters. So please join that. That's the scan code. For all our audiences that are joining us online, this is your chance to participate as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the first panel discussion of the day, and it's titled Onboarding the Next 100 Million. Which public goods will make it happen? Well, one of the ethos of DeFi and the blockchain technology that powers is all about sharing and collaboration. Now, we heard from Mr. Shubham Gupta about one of the public goods use cases. Now, such examples are crucial in fueling innovation, addressing problem spaces, and providing the necessary infrastructure, really, services and resources for decentralized digital inclusion in the world of DeFi. Now, to discuss this and more, may I please invite Manisha Gupta to come up on stage to moderate the session. May I also invite her fellow panelists. Please put your hands together for Digant Mahesh Trivedi, Head of Product, Shipfinex. Welcome Nitesh Mishra, Founder, Coindcx. Our next panelist is Sharat Chandra, Blockchain and Emerging Tech Evangelist. Put your hands together. And lastly, please also welcome Ashish Anand, Founder and CEO, Brew Finance.
Thank you, Ahmedabad, for being with us this Saturday evening. I know आप लोग सब 2000 के नोट के बारे में सोच रहे हैं और ये भी सोच रहे हैं कि TCS Forex travel में अब कितना ज़्यादा 20% और देना पड़ेगा. I know हमारे life में बहुत सारे challenges हैं. But as Shubham was pointing out, there is just so much happening when it comes to decentralization and blockchain. I mean, he showed us some case studies and some pilot studies as well, which are ongoing right now. So clearly, technology is on a rise right now. How are we onboarding it, and how is the public goods and services becoming a part of this is something that we will discuss right now with this panel. We thank you for being here with us, and we really hope that this discussion is influential for you, and we'll of course take questions as well, and we'll get your feedback onto this one as well. Digant, I'll start with you first. And we were talking during the lunch as well, and you talked about shipping very deeply. We do understand that there's tokenization happening there. Maritime, how are you looking at it? This is yet another public area where we have seen decentralization, onboarding on blockchain happen. What has been your experience?
First of all, I'd like to thank Forbes and Coindcx for inviting us, and thank you everyone for coming in tonight. Let's take an example of a ship. A ship is, we all know that ship carries goods from A to B, and that's why they get paid. But a large part of the earnings of the ship also goes back to the owner. Now, shipping, commercial shipping itself has been a 600-year-old industry, right? And if we look at which nationalities or people from which country own the most, Greece has the largest number of ship owners, followed by Japan and then Germany, right? Japan and then China. And then we have Germany and other countries. The point here is that the reason this happens is because, first, ship is a very capital-intensive asset. A small ship costs at least $5 to $10 million, and it can go up to $200 million, depending on the specialization and what cargo it carries, right? So we don't have people who just have $20, $30 million lying around. So it becomes a very difficult, industry to get in. The second part is that people who are in the shipping industry or have been for a long time, they can access it. So what we now wanted to do was take this industry, which has been around for almost 500, 600 years, and make it accessible to everybody. So this would not have been possible had it not been for blockchain, giving us or laying the ground for transparency, traceability, tokenization, and fractionalization. So what we do at Shipfinex is we create we tokenize a ship, right? We tokenize an asset, and then we fractionalize it. So you don't need to have $2 or $3 million lying around to participate and to buy a ship. You can do it with $1,000. Now you see, all the earnings are public, transparent, and traceable. Same thing that goes along with all the returns that you get, right? Now, why shipping? I'll just quickly answer this, because if you look at ship, right, that is one of the assets that makes money while it floats on water, and it also makes money when it's scrapped. So it's one of the oldest assets that is very, very capital intensive, but gives a good return throughout its life cycle. So we really wanted people to participate in this, magnificent, old and mature industry, and we wanted to open it up to all the people.
I've always wanted to own a ship and a yacht and a plane. So I'm hoping I can do that now with tokenization.
Yes, you can.
Right. Sharad, this one is to you. There are various technologies that are ongoing right now. What are the use cases? And Shubham told us a few, whether it's pharma, land records, etc. What do you think are the ripe sectors which can start using DeFi in some sense?
I would pick from where Digant left, and so the tokenization of real-world assets and real estate to be in particular. And let me explain why I am more bullish on real estate, because if you look at the regulator SEBI, they have floated a consultation paper on micro and small medium REITs, real estate investment trusts. So I think the regulator has set the ball rolling for fractional ownership of properties. So the same concept of tokenization, which will allow people across the startup society, I mean, they can buy a piece of land, even let's say by putting in 2,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees, right? So I think that also democratizes the process of ownership of assets. And now you can unlock the liquidity of these real world assets. So I think that will be one of the enablers of bringing more people into Web3. If the non-crypto native audience, if he or she can buy a piece of token which can represent an asset like a land, and now we have regulators blessing that decision. So I think that will be, I would say, an inflection point of bringing more people into Web3.
You know, I was planning to ask the regulatory question later on in the discussion, but because you brought it right up in front, there's a bit of an uncertainty. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of people want to onboard this right now, but there isn't enough clarity. I know we've had some dialogues with the regulatory. I was talking earlier as well, and there are some papers. There is discussion between the parliament as well. Where do you see it stand right now?
So I think the regulators, they have been very open-minded, and some of the state governments, let me quote example of Telangana state government. I also run India Blockchain Forum, where we're one of the advisors to the Telangana government's Web3 sandbox. So I think sandboxes are great playground for startups and innovators to come and engage with the government, because as part of this sandbox, you get relaxations from SEBI and RBI. Both these bodies are part of the sandbox. That is one. Now, if you want to tokenize other assets, let's say even bonds, securities, and that's where the GIFT City or the IFSCA, being independent regulator, they are very, very open. I had the privilege of meeting the CTO of GIFT City in Bangalore a couple of weeks ago, and he was very keen and enthusiastic on supporting startups. So I think startups should engage more with these entities and look forward to sandboxes. That's where they can experiment new ideas. But again, we yet have to see a more credible stance or credible solution coming from the government as part of G20 presidency. So hopefully by September, we'll see some action from the government.
Oh, well, absolutely. Ashish, this one is to you. So while we've spoken about accessibility and transparency, it is about empowering the general public when it comes to investments. What is it where do you see that being at right now? What are the challenges that we still have to face?
So from that perspective, if we look at DeFi has become a great tool for general public to participate in the blockchain space. They can start earning fixed income. They can start earning by giving loans basically across the border, across the globe, using tokenized assets. In DeFi also, the new wave of DeFi is all about real world DeFi. So how do you enable, instead of just virtual asset backed DeFi, which we talked about in the first session, how do you enable real world asset backed DeFi? How do you use that DeFi for financial inclusion, for example? And that's where I see that there is a lot of opportunity for investors to come onto the board. And the best part of a blockchain-based DeFi is that the yield opportunities, I mean something which Ahmedabad will be very interested to understand. The yield opportunities are of several types. So you have the opportunity to earn yield by investment, but you also have the opportunity to earn additional yield by way of virtue of owning tokens, by gaining tokens as additional yield, which can take your APYs right from, instead of say 8 to 10% to 25% or so. So these are some of the opportunities which we see public good DeFi, real world DeFi coming into play. And especially a lot of that, in my opinion, will come into the financial inclusion space, like agriculture, rural economies, etc.
That's what my follow-up question was, because with Brew and World, you do loan disbursement to farmers. What has been your experience? What were the challenges on the road ahead?
That's really something we are very proud of what we have done in the blockchain space. So right now, Subham was talking about that most of the things have remained at pilot or POC stage. In 2019, before DeFi was a word, we launched farmer financing on-chain lending for farmers in participation with Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank. Again, not a large bank, but Maharashtra State Cooperative Bank. And we use the Maharashtra government warehouses for the purpose of post-harvest financing to farmers. So a challenge the farmers face that when the crop comes into the market, the price drops because there is so much supply. And the farmers, we call it distress sell. Farmers end up selling at the lowest price. So we said that, hey, why don't you sell after 2 months, 3 months when the prices are good? And they said that, what do I do? For 2 months, 3 months, I need working capital for the next crop. I need to buy seed. I also need to do a lot of household expenses, which I have been waiting. My entire house is waiting that the crop will be there, and then I will buy some books. I will do repair of my house. And then we thought, okay, we will finance you. For that 3 months period, we will give you a loan because you have this commodity. Don't sell that. Give me on the blockchain. I will tokenize that commodity and use that tokenized commodity as a collateral. No other collateral, no land, no gold, nothing. And this is what we started doing with 5 warehouses. Today, we are at 1,400 warehouses. So it has gone much beyond from pilot to scale. We have disbursed 100 crore rupee of loan on this platform to farmers. So this was what we did in cooperation, along with the banks. Now we have a few banks, 6, 7 banks are there. But now we have added DeFi. It means that anybody out of here can give loan to the farmers, earn interest as a fixed income by against those tokenized commodities. That tokenized commodity sits in their wallet as a security. So it's not unsecured, secured loan. Plus on top of that, they can start getting, they will get the yield from lending to the farmers, but they will also get tokens as blue tokens as separate yield. And that's the beauty of DeFi. A traditional finance ecosystem can only give you one single yield, which is the lending yield. But the DeFi can give you a lending yield plus a participation yield, which is the token yield. So this is what we have been doing. We hope that, the progress has been so good that our banking partners just issued 1,200 crore rupee more of credit line for this. So hopefully it will go well.
All right, amazing. Congratulations on that, really. Nishant, this one is to you then. And, when you're doing all of these things, and I'm sure Ahmedabad would want to ask that question, what is the profitability here?
Okay, so that's a very appropriate question. So we started, this whole concept of Coindcx and Bramble with this motive only, profitability. But I'll take you a couple of years back while I was, basically experimenting with this play-to-earn model that we had. So that was the time when we started, giving the game developers and the end users the benefit of what, internet gives to only 2 to 3 companies today, as you know. So that was the whole motive, to enable the end users to basically take take ownership of their own data and take ownership of their rightly earned, tokens or money, whatever it is, for the time they've spent on the internet. So that was the whole philosophy. Now the thing is, while we were solving that, there happened to be one problem, that is of gas charges, and then there's this very intrinsic problem of blockchain that it does not understand anything that is beyond its ecosystem. You see. And this is a very huge problem when we started to find more about it. And this is where we position ourselves to solve the intrinsic problem of the blockchain. Why interoperability is important? Because you see, today, if you want to use, whatever, you want to stream a video, or you want to chat with your friends, or you want to do your business, you don't go to 10 different internets, do you? Yeah, we go to the same internet where we simply, open a Explorer, we type the product, and we are ready to use. So this is what gave us the idea of why not create a system that is not dependent on third party. You see, right now we are living in a society that is too much dependent on third party. So one third party is working for another third party is working for another third party. You see, you buy something from e-commerce, you want to return, that is not the guy you're returning to. You're returning to somebody else who's working for somebody else, whose product is on somebody else's platform. You see, this is how things are happening. So by enabling this, series of third parties, you're basically making yourself more vulnerable. Okay, and in order for these companies to make profit, there's just one way. They have to track your data at the end of the day for advertisements or for anything. So this is where, after we solve this problem of interoperability, we are able to, talk more about bringing people on blockchain. It's not just, basically, I am definitely building a dApp at the end of the day, a DeFi dApp to be more precise, but what after they come on dApp? You see, that is the problem that we are trying to solve, the very intrinsic problem. Now, the problem of scalability is being taken care by many, protocols out there. The problem of, how to onboard people, how to make sure that this particular blockchain is secure, it is already taken care. Now, what we are taking care of is making sure that you are able to you are able to make sure that one protocol talks to another protocol without any third party, without any bridging solution. So yeah, I mean, this is what we are trying to do. And in answering your question after that, so the profitability, you see, is something that, in Web2 startup industry is not something that, people usually think about. Initially when you have, a fund investment, the very first thing you think about is, acquisition rather than the profitability. And I can understand why. Because you see, the moat is not always great for many ideas or many startups. So, but if you enable a system where, people are finding the true value, okay, and you take a very small part out of that system as, what can I say, as a profit or as the service charges, I don't think anybody will deny paying you. So we should not, really think of things from this perspective that this is free, so we should, kind of use it. We should always think, what value is it adding to my, basically the whole thing. So today I am using any internet thing, they're taking my data, so is it worth it? You just have to ask yourself that.
So that really is my follow-up question, on safety and security. And this is something I want to ask all of you, that burst some myths here. When you go on blockchain, can everybody read it? I'm sure if somebody wants to come on board with a loan to the farmers, how much, what is the safety, what is the security? And I'll come to you, Ashish, for that. But starting first here, what is that one myth that you would want to put to rest right now when it comes to safety, security on this?
So, this is a very common question because I also teach blockchain. So that is one of the very, and by teach, I don't mean students of, 10th, 11th or 12th standard. I teach to probably people who are already working in banks or are very senior to me. So the very first question that I always get is definitely this, like how secure is this system and why our system
I'm asking some common questions here.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very comfortable here, thank you. So the thing is, I think when you are basically, so any product, how do you judge a product, how secure it is? Okay, I'll just, in one line is, the actual philosophy that, blockchain gave rise to was, let's verify and not trust. So at any system, at any given point of time, you're trusting a company. So for example, I'm representing Coindcx today. Okay, that's a decentralized exchange that enables protocol-to-protocol transfer. So in case you're trusting Coindcx to enable your transfer, it's not a good product. But if you're able to see every transaction that's happening on-chain, if you're able to hold custody of your assets on your own, without any third-party intervention, without me coming to help you, or without me telling you, oh, use this. I mean, maybe I'll secure your funds. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's the first way. Do not trust, always verify, is how you will understand that security of that particular product is always taken care of in a Web3 product. But it's easily said than done, because there are multiple products out there that are working really hard to make sure that, at every step, the information that is coming from outside blockchain is also secure. So
that
one of the myths that people see, in terms of education, people always sort of mistake blockchain for crypto. They always think that this is what a technology is, and say, this is the token, kitna paisa banega. That's not what it is. So one of the biggest myths is that if you are to hold tokens and you are already working on blockchain, and if you are working in blockchain, then you can't do without holding tokens. Now that's a big misconception. You can be building something that, like what we are doing, bringing real assets to the chain and then enabling more people to participate in a financial class that was never a public asset. That was never available for everybody. So we have to really understand that the technology behind it is not what runs it. For example, how many of you who drive a car? Can just say, almost everybody, motorbike, everybody, right? Can you explain to me how the internal combustion engine works? So you can tell me petrol aaya jala, but I'm talking about a Carnot cycle. You can't, right? That's the whole point. That you don't have to exactly write the mathematical code, but you have to understand how it works. So when you fill fuel, that is the token, that is the fee that runs your car, you see. So token and what the actual blockchain does are two different things. So this is a big myth that I would really like people to understand the differentiation between.
User security and confidentiality is yet another thing. And a lot of people are people keep away because of these concerns also.
So these concerns are pretty much valid. So when it comes to user security, there are enough blockchain native tools. For example, there's a concept of zero knowledge proof where you can actually prove the authenticity of the statement without actually revealing the details. So that's being employed by many identity management platforms now, which are blockchain native. Let me quote an example of Polygon ID, because they are one of the key players in making identity infrastructure, which is very crucial for Web3. If you want to onboard users, you need to assign a Web3 native identity. So it uses zero knowledge proof where your actual data remains secure. You don't actually have to reveal your entire data. Another example would be, let's say if you want to walk into a bar and order a drink, you don't actually have to reveal your actual age, right? It just says, okay, you're more than 18, you can buy a drink. Right. So the same concept can be applied in different areas. Another example will be financial sector, where you can be granted a loan without actually revealing the entire details of your salary slip. You just have to prove, okay, you earn beyond certain threshold, right? And there are examples already happening in markets like Hong Kong and UK, where some of the financial institutions are using zero knowledge proof. Yeah.
Ashish, what do you think is a serious myth that needs to be busted like right now?
In my opinion, it is that lack of regulation is hurting us. I believe that lack of regulation in India is a great thing. We have the opportunity to exploit the regulatory arbitrage. And if you look at the history of financial industry, that's how NBFCs grew. That's how microfinance grew. NGOs started giving loans, under which rule they were allowed to do that. NBFCs started giving rules under which role they were allowed to do that. Same thing we see over here, so that we are waiting for regulation is not happening, that's why India is suffering. No. You have a regulatory arbitrage. Your SEBI, RBI said we are not regulating crypto. Government said there is no regulation on crypto. So unless until you are defrauding people, unless until you are doing money laundering, do whatever you want to do and go ahead. And nobody, unless until G20 comes up with the regulations, you have a lot of landscape to work upon, instead of saying that, hey, we are not getting regulated, we are not getting regulated like they are regulating in the... So you are better, right? It is not like RBI or SEBI has dragged so many founders, unlike SEC, to court. Nobody has done that. We are in the best place to do that. So that's one myth I would love to say that, hey, let's not talk about that myth at all.
I think that's a favorite one. It's like my class mein meri teacher nahi aayi to main padhunga hi nahi. You can still study, right? I mean, it's like that. Okay, so next round of question really is about, since we're talking about onboarding the next 100 million, I'll start again with you, Ashish. Let's go this way now. Tell me, how do you onboard? What is that next push? Where does it need to come from? And what are the challenges, or what is the opportunity that you see into this one?
Well, that's the real challenging part, in my opinion. For an average user, Web3 remains a pitfall of which has to be, I mean, so many pitfalls that it's difficult to guard against. For example, today if I forget password of my bank account, my internet banking, I can regenerate, log in again in here. If I forget my wallet's secret code, I'm gone. Right? Has happened with almost everyone, in my opinion. Now, supposingly I'm dealing with a farmer who has put 1 lakh rupee of grain, and I say that you have lost your wallet, your 1 lakh rupee is gone. What will happen? So that's, in my opinion, is a major worry, and that's why when we built the solution, what we did, that we kept the user part Web2 based. So it's a pure Web2 based solution which interacts with the blockchain at the back end. All the institutions, whether it's a bank, warehouse, government, all of those are on blockchain. But when it comes to the farmer, I have allowed him to access this either through an app or a web app, or even in a physical mode at the warehouse, but no Web3 solution. So this is what we had to do, because we did not want farmers to face the problem. So we need to solve that. We need to solve for the solutions where we don't need to, say for example today, if I go outside of this and I can say that, hey, you know, you can give a loan to the farmer using my platform. And they will say, how do you do that? So I will say, go to app.brew.finance. And the first thing it does, it says, you know what? Connect your wallet. How many people outside on the road own a wallet? And those are the things which we need to solve for, that how do we can allow access without needing a wallet? How do we create solutions where recoveries are possible? And a lot of work is happening.
I think that is a valid question to ask. How many would you want to invest? I mean, I understand when you want to earn money, whether it's about equities or commodities or currencies or real estate or whether it's about blockchain, we all want to earn money at the end of the day. How many of you think that you would want to invest in the kind of projects that we're talking about right now? Are you comfortable doing that? Do you have a wallet? All right. Okay, not bad.
So I would like to pick from where Ashish left. So wallets, I mean, they are the gateways to the Web3 world. Now, the challenge is how do you make sure that you create an open, interoperable, and privacy-preserving wallet? So what's happening globally is there's a foundation called Open Wallet Foundation, started under the aegis of Linux Foundation, where the likes of Visa, American Express, and the Digital Dollar Project, the CBDC project, started by a bunch of people in the US. What they're trying to do is they're trying to create one single wallet which will allow you to store your credentials, your documents, your assets, and also your digital currencies, including CBDCs. So that's where, and the user experience has to be as smooth as, let's say, onboarding your any payment wallet app, right? So that's where a lot of tooling needs to happen, and we are gradually moving in that direction because we have a foundation and more than 300 entities, including governments, they're supporting it. So if you look at the future of wallets is going to be open, and imagine a case where we have DigiLocker and it becomes an open wallet. So this foundation, what they're doing is they're creating the wallet engine so that any developer or any entity can start building a open wallet which is secure and privacy oriented. I think that's where a lot of effort needs to be driven, and we'll slowly get there.
So, you know, what I understand from what both of you said is that when you talk about decentralized, and this is a question to you then, you can't really present it as it is. It really needs to be dumbed down, if I can use that word, to ensure that more and more people are onboarded.
Yeah. So what I do is I head product, right? This is something that I think about day and night. Like, how can I make the entry of barriers so low that everybody can participate? How do I make it as easy? So I'll give two quick examples. I've been building a lot of DAOs. So just to everybody who doesn't know, DAO is Decentralized Autonomous Organization. Everybody lives in a house, correct? And all of you have, since I know Ahmedabad very well, you all live in some society, correct? That society has a registration number. So a DAO literally can become a society, where your share certificate and your ownership will be tokenized, and you will be given a token. So next time when you have a board meeting, you can't say, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this. You literally vote with the token and say yes or no. And it is transparent, everybody knows what has happened, and resolution is passed within 10 seconds. That is the power. So DAOs are really becoming very, very open and very easy to access for people. So that is the biggest wave of onboarding that I see happening. There are still some issues, but the work is being done. Coming to the second part. Everybody has a bottle right here, right? The water bottle. If you spend 1 minute with it, you will know how to open it. You see what I'm trying to say? You will know how to open it without anybody having to tell you कि bottle कैसे खोलना है. That is called good design. And this is something that I emphasize very, very strongly. It is called design thinking and user empathy based design. You have to understand where the user is coming from. You have to understand that not everybody is technically proficient, or not everybody understands the details of self-custody, cryptography, and technology. You have to go down to the level where a 10-year-old and a 100-year-old can use the same technology. So this is a very important thing, in my opinion, that we have to look at very easy design thinking, make sure that the product is empathetic. Like, it's easy to use, it explains itself, so that is good UI and simple UX. These are technical terms, but like explaining the bottle example, right? You know what a bottle is for, you can still open it within 1 minute of nobody telling you. That is called good design. So that is something that a lot of emphasis is being done from our end, and a lot of product guys that I know, we are working very hard to do this, so that more and more people can use easily and daily.
So tell me, if I have to invest in ShipFinex, what is the way to go about it? Dump it down for me. Exactly. So literally, you can invest in Ship in 5 steps. So I've literally designed the step that you can just log in. You can give me your, because it's a legal thing, so you have to do your KYC. Again, and that's also, like Sharath mentioned, like we are with Polygon ID. So we are not storing your data.
Third, you literally go in and you buy through my app itself, the main coin, right? Fourth, you select which ship you want to buy, and 5, you click buy. In 5 steps and in less than 3 minutes, you are a ship owner.
And what is the smallest ticket size I can do there?
Right now we are in beta, so I mean, since you're a friend, I'll give it to you for $1,000.
Okay. All right. Everybody heard that, right? Okay, Nishant, to you then.
So basically, I'm not a great fan of dumbing down things. No, I mean, nothing against anybody over here, but it's more like we have to bridge this gap by education, I believe. You just cannot, think of just because cars are not good for society, you're not going back to horse, are you? So that's one of the reasons I think education is very important when it comes to, and we have to also cut, the kind of rumors that are going around in the market. As Ashish very rightly pointed out that the kind of regulation we have, we are in the best place, and I very much agree with him, because you see, currently, I mean, regulations will never come for blockchain or building a product or anything like that. Like if you want to build a good product with a good design, and a good product that can be used by anybody, you don't need a regulation for that. Okay, the regulation will come only for the financial instrument or the financial aspect of it, where you're prevented by the fraud. Currently, you're not exactly prevented by, if any fraud happens to you on anywhere relating to crypto, you're not just government won't interfere and won't do any justice to you. So that's the only thing that is something to look out for, because personally telling, even if I'm in India or if I'm abroad, so wherever I go, I think Indians have kind of the best talent in the world. Like if I'm not exaggerating, we definitely have the best talent out there, and dumbing things down is not going to work for us. We are a country of more than 1.4 billion people, so it's better if we bring everybody to the scale that everybody understands this thing. I think we'll have such a awesome crowd, and we'll have such a great crowd of thinkers, because when I talk about decentralization, I'm very comfortable talking to this kind of crowd rather than talking to any crowd anywhere in the world, because here I don't have to explain everything. Okay, and even if I don't explain, I'm pretty sure they will experiment, and this is the crowd I am looking for. That's why I'm not going to dumb it down for anybody, because I am solving the intrinsic problem of blockchain. If you come to blockchain, how would you stay? How secure you would be, how you would be able to, do tens of things on it. So that is, my motive and my inspiration. So,
well, a lot of varied conversations, but clearly the mind, the passion, and the direction is only there on where we can get it to a more decentralized way here. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. This has been amazing conversation. So much to learn and so candidly done. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Manisha. A big round of applause for all the audience. You just got an endorsement from one of the panelists that it was wonderful to be in this audience and we don't need to dumb down anything, as you're more inquisitive about everything. And I'm hoping that the next 2 panels and the Fireside Chat, the next 1 panel and the Fireside Chat will be enjoyable as well. So once again, reminding you that we have created a Telegram channel called Namaste Web3 Movement, where we'll keep the dialogue on. We'll give you information about all the editions that we are now going to have after the Ahmedabad edition, and all the information regarding this series. That's the code. I see very few hands going up, which means everybody has it. All right. Fantastic. All right, it's time now for a fireside chat. The topic for the chat is the future of DeFi predictions for 2023. As DeFi continues to gain popularity, the future of the space looks very promising, with new developments and breathtaking possibilities to revolutionize really the traditional financial landscape. Now, the DeFi industry is propelled by emerging trends and technologies, illuminating a vibrant future for DeFi. As the industry evolves, the emerging trends and technologies will shape more robust and accessible decentralized financial ecosystem. To discuss more on the future of DeFi, may I request Manisha to please come back on stage. And may I also invite Paulos Matthew, Global Head and CXO Advisor, Blockchain and Emerging Technologies, Tata Consultancy Services, to join Manisha for this chat.
Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Matthew, for joining us. You know, we do understand that major companies like Wipro and TCS and Infosys have now departments for blockchain. You guys are heading it, and a lot of work is being done. So even before I start asking you questions, do tell us on what is TCS doing right now when it comes to blockchain.
Hi, first of all, thanks for having me here. Thanks for inviting me. It's a great opportunity talking to the crowd in Ahmedabad, and I was also influenced quite a bit on my opinions from the panel discussions. So to your question, what is TCS doing in this space? A lot, right? So I don't know if I can give a very quick answer to that, but in terms of solutions, so you look at it from multiple layers, right? So you can't look at blockchain as one single piece. You're looking at it as wafers, right? You get multiple layers of so you have a settlement layer, which is probably handled by the blockchain platforms which are already existing. But then beyond that, every other layer is where there is a lot of innovation happening. Even in the settlement layer, it is happening. But asset layer or protocol layer, we are looking at a lot of activities happening. Our research teams are working on cryptographic protocols, right? So dealing with multi-party computation part. Our solutions teams are working on what our customers are looking for, maybe offering DeFi solutions as a service, something that they can plug into and use it. We have something called Quartz for markets or Quartz product suite, which makes it easy for anyone to use the Quartz dev kit and create blockchain applications. We also have the Quartz tokenization solution. We have the wallet space, and any sort of tokens. I'm not talking about fungible, non-fungible. All sort of tokens are something that can be handled with the Quartz for market product suite. Right? So these are things that are happening, and beyond all that, there is a lot of consulting happening. Right? The customers want to know what is the best time to get into this. Do they want to get into? They see a particular news item. Is this something that we should also try out? Right? So there's a lot of consulting also happening in the space that we are actively involved in.
Is a lot of investment happening? I mean, as you said, there are customers asking you, and you are innovating more and more products here. How is the sector increasing? What is the kind of growth that you've also seen?
I do not have numbers from a TCS perspective, but from I also look at the analyst numbers. So I'm looking at maybe something like 13 billion USD from 2022 to the 2030 numbers being about 200 million USD, right? So that's the numbers we are looking at. And that gives space for a lot of innovation. So you're talking about newer blockchain applications, applications, DeFi applications coming in, but then there is also innovation happening at all layers of that architecture. So sustainable financing is one area where there is blockchain applications coming in. And we are seeing GameFi, right? So a lot of gaming applications, the creative economy being supported by blockchain applications, decentralized storage, identity. I mean, the list goes on and on. I don't know where to stop.
Well, absolutely. Since we are on the subject, I mean, we've seen so many use cases being discussed already on where all we've seen blockchain and DeFi actually make inroads within. What is your sense on what are the best cases right now, and what should we be watching out for in 2023 now?
Good question. I think, so we covered a few in this recent panel. I think fractional investing was something that I think you are jumping on board. So that's something happening. You have, in terms of, you have a lot of DXs and DAOs right now, but I think you're going to see aggregator applications coming in more. Rather than going into individual applications for doing the transactions, you're going to see aggregator applications taking care of that, right? Then the DeFi part of it stays probably in the last three layers of that architecture. The top layer, like where you're offering the wallets and all that, will continue to be centralized. You will have a centralized element to it, is what I'm assuming, right? Because you need the recovery for your wallet. So non-custodial aspects for assets may not be something that people have truly bought into, right? So there are, I mean, there are advantages of it, but then the kind of disadvantages to it in terms of losing your entire wealth or entire assets because you lose a password, I don't think people are in a position to take that risk. So I think the non-custodial aspect may still take some time because we heard from the last panel discussion, the open wallet project. So these are advancements being done there, but we are not there yet.
How decentralized, how much is the decentralized right now?
Very good question. And those are areas where we need regulatory, intervention also, right? So, I mean, when someone comes out saying decentralization happens progressively. I don't think when someone says, okay, this is a decentralized app or this is a decentralized platform, it is on day one, right? So it takes time to decentralize. Okay, someone comes up with a great idea. Okay, let's build this in a decentralized manner. Yes, okay, so it happens, but then I always look at it as a progressive decentralization than, okay, we start as a decentralized one from day one. Right, so that's my, so many of the platforms that we see today are not truly decentralized. Yeah, I mean, that's my take on it. Sorry to be like very
no, I totally get that. So, we do understand there are various challenges. And what is it, according to you, that is the challenge that we need to deal with right now when it comes to DeFi, when it comes to various financial products that are being introduced within the space?
See, in terms of the financial products, we are probably seeing a mirroring of whatever solutions or financial products, instruments that are available in the centralized finance world, right? So, and that will continue to happen. So, it may not replace the centralized finance applications, but you are going to see replicas of that coming up in this. And it is up to the people to choose which one they want to go with. They get a higher yield on the decentralized finance one. Yes, that is an option, right? So one of the things I was influenced by from the last panel discussion was the regulatory arbitrage, right? So we are talking about it because I was always looking at maybe the regulatory aspect has to bring in the clarity. It is not just about, I mean, it shouldn't stifle in innovation, but it should support innovation, but then it should also ensure that the citizens are not at risk. Even the innovators are not at risk, right? So you are not ending up dealing with a lot of collaterals which are of low quality. So those are things which I think regulators can play a big role in. And with institutions coming in, it would actually be a good space to be in, and it's very active right now.
It is. So talk to us about, we're looking at traditional finance right now, and there are numerous conversations about how there can be a seamless transition from traditional finance within the DeFi as a space. How have you seen the space? What are the opportunities that you see within?
See, I think for the traditional finance institutions also there is a big role to play here, right? So they have come through years or maybe centuries of learning, right? And many of those things apply here. We are not talking about a completely different topic. We are talking about finance here itself. It is just maybe a slightly different way of accessing finance without too many intermediaries. But we still are talking about finance. So a lot of learnings from the traditional finance definitely applies here. Compliance rules, maybe things like Basel norms, right? Stress testing to ensure that there is no bankruptcy or you don't have a bailout requirement in the DeFi world, right? I mean, you automatically take care of some of the things like ensuring that the collaterals are available or auto-liquidated and all that. But still, I think a lot of learnings from the traditional finance will definitely apply here.
And there is nothing in the world really that doesn't come without risks. So how are you looking at that? What do you think are the risks right now, and how are you allaying it?
See, with the kind of development or the fast-paced development that is happening, even today, I think while we were in this session, I was reading about a platform, SwapRun, again a DeFi platform losing maybe 3 million USD because of, siphoned off by some of the developers or the community itself, right? So these are things that we have to be wary of. That's again a space where regulators have a role to play. Okay, so making sure that the wealth is not lost. Now, what I was saying is there is vulnerability in the system. So it is not foolproof yet. Yes, blockchain platform by itself, yes, there is no hacks happening. But on the applications which are being developed on it, there is still a centralized aspect coming in. And we are looking at more ways of ensuring data privacy, security, and all other aspects which are necessary for a financial system. And that takes time. So it is not something that will happen overnight, right? So you are bound to see some of the issues that happened in the centralized finance world here as well. This is going to repeat here. I mean, don't be shocked or surprised to see it. And you will see people running saying that, no, we want regulation, right? So while decentralized finance talks about maybe moving away from regulators or intermediaries, but whenever there is a scam happening or a defraud happening, you are again running back to regulators saying that this should have been protected, right? So those things are, I mean, it'll take time.
So, you know, when we talk about blockchain and DeFi and all the related subjects here, the importance of community and collaboration is something that is always underlined here in bold. For TCS, the company that stands tall, how important is community and collaboration for you?
It's very important, right? I think one of the things we focus on, you look at maybe blockchain specifically, is the partnerships in this space, right? So we are talking about building ecosystems. So to build ecosystems, the first thing we do is you look at the partnerships we make in the space, be it with our customers, be it with the academic community, be it with the rest of the startup ecosystem. So all of it. So I think partnerships is one of the main aspects when it comes to blockchain or any of the initiatives that we are talking about. The community aspect comes primary to us.
So one of the major things that seems to have picked up quite strong across board clearly has been gaming. You as TCS, have you seen that subject? Because everywhere that you look, the numbers really are overwhelming.
Gaming is probably one area where we do not have too many, I mean, from an exploration perspective, yes, but in terms of solutions that we are putting out there on the metaverse front also, yes, but from a blockchain specific perspective, what we are trying to solve is maybe the identity aspect of it, the interoperability aspect of it, but not at large. Gaming, not.
The other one is NFTs really, because this is an area where we've seen more developments come in sense of regulations as well. How have you broached the subject?
NFTs is one area where multiple things are happening. One is in terms of standards for the tokens. I'll probably generalize NFTs to tokens because we are talking about maybe a lot of types of tokens evolving, right? Token standards evolving because different assets, different digital assets, like whether you're representing a physical asset, all of it has its own attributes. So different token standards are evolving. That's one area we are working on. So the standard that you use for a music as an NFT may not be something that applies to a security as an NFT, right? So, or a token. So again, using the word NFT may not be right always. So, so the tokenization standards is something that we work on. Tokenization solutions, which works on fungible tokens, which works on non-fungible ones, stable coins, all of it. So these are probably areas we are focusing on from the tokenization perspective.
Right. I'll wind up with this one question. So TCS as a company, who are your clients really? What is the kind of work that is being done? And as a company, there would be various other companies and enterprises who would want to get into blockchain at one level or at one stage or the other. What is the advice that you would want to give to them?
With respect to customers, I think we are working across customers from all verticals. BFSI, one of the primary verticals for us, but in blockchain space, we are seeing the traction from all business verticals. So it is not restricted to just the DeFi space. We are talking about track and trace solutions, which is for the manufacturing industry or retail industry, sustainability solutions. So it is actually spread across industry verticals. But then when you look at for what do we tell enterprises who are coming into this space, the entry barrier in this space is very low. Something we were chatting about, right? So, I mean, you are given an open source platform like blockchain technology, be it Ethereum, be it any of the other ones are all open source platforms that are handed over to you in a platter, right? And you can do whatever you want. You can build your innovative solutions on top of it. The core aspects of ensuring the settlement happens fine, the assets are tied to the aspect, all that is taken care of by Ethereum, the open source part itself. You only need to focus on building solutions on top of it. I mean, can you build newer blockchain solutions or blockchain platforms also? Yes. But then we have not seen very, innovative blockchain platforms coming up after, let's say, the Bitcoin or the Ethereum. There are few, like we are seeing platforms like, say, Polygon, which is a layer 2 one, right? Or maybe Algorand, which is trying to solve the blockchain dilemma, ensuring that security, decentralization, and scalability is addressed all at once, right? So we are seeing that, but then beyond that, like any of the enterprises here, one is creating the blockchain platforms will be more research oriented, the cryptography aspects or all that, the consensus part and all that. But then building applications on top of it, it is easy to start off with, like using the blockchain platform, the blockchain technologies available, the open source platforms, you can start building things on it. It is very easy. So that's
well, absolutely. There are thousands of names out there, but as you said, there are very fewer gems there. So the threshold is low, but you really have to work hard on the use case here and the viability in that sense. Mr. Matthews, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for this conversation.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Manisha and Paulus, for that insightful session. A gentle reminder about the Telegram channel, Namaste Web3. The code is right here for you to scan. That is going to keep you posted about our initiatives. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time now for the last panel of the evening, titled The Importance of User Education in DeFi, helping users to make informed decisions and managing risks. Now, user education plays a pivotal role in the realm of decentralized finance, empowering individuals to make informed decisions and effectively manage risks. By prioritizing user education, the DeFi ecosystem can foster responsible and sustainable growth, ensuring a more inclusive and resilient financial future. In this panel discussion, our experts will explore the emerging landscape of DeFi and its impact on crypto trading. They will share insights on the latest trends, strategies, and opportunities in this rapidly evolving space. To moderate this, Manisha is going to come back on stage. And joining her fellow panelists, Gaurav Arora, Head of DeFi Initiatives, Coindcx, Dr. Mukesh Jindal, CEO, Alpha Capital, Puneet Agrawal, Founder, Coindcx, and Sudeep Saxena, co-founder, Coingabbar.
Thank you. The last panel of the day and the most important one really, because the user education is the key right now. And Gaurav, I'll start with you without further ado. Why is user education important? What is the missing link here?
I think this is a completely new area, right? And new things always come with a lot of fear. And rightly so. I think people should be wary of new areas. And if any industry wants to really be there for the long run, they need to make sure that they benefit the users. They make the users money, for example, in this case. And the only way to help users make money is to make sure that they don't go into the wrong areas, the wrong risks, or the risks they don't understand. So I think education is a really big, more than growth, I think is to make sure that people take the right risks, and that's why it's important.
So, you know, we were having discussions earlier about custodial wallets and how many do understand really. And as was the question, do we need to dumb it down? Do we need to, raise the bar? Do we need to talk more? Do we need to create more awareness? What's your sense?
So I think it's a mix of both. Firstly, there are things that should be completely hidden,
not even dumbed down. Like, for example, nobody should need to understand what's a chain and what's a protocol and all of that stuff, because that's not their core job, right? So you hide some of the things, so you don't have to explain it. Make things easy for the user, make decision making easy. And then the things that matter to the user, which is, hey, these are the opportunities or what are the risks, those need to be explained. So we need to kind of go both ends of the spectrum. Remove some things and explain some things a lot.
So let's talk about investments. And Mukesh, this one is to you. You work with high net worth individuals. What's your sense on what really is missing? How much have people moved from traditional finance into DeFi, into blockchain right now?
One, I think that the DeFi and the crypto industry has done phenomenal work. If you look at the investments, I was looking at some data points. Stock market in India has been there for many years, and we have how many? 6 crore investors. The first mutual fund scheme came in 1987. It's 35 years, and we only have 3.5 crore investors. The crypto, though it has been around 10, 12 years, but really started picking up, in around 2016. So we're talking about 6, 7 years. So, it's about 11.5 crore is what I am being told. So just imagine the kind of work which is being done. And, congratulations to the whole industry, which it has done. Now, if you ask me from an investor perspective, let's say if there are 11.5 crore investors, I think around 99% of them really don't know that what those digital assets, the technology behind them are. Most of them have come for wealth creation, for trading. And I think that's where the real challenge lies. And, I also understand that, this space is new. And because it's only 10, 13 years, the stock market has been there for the last 400, 500 years. And I think what we really need is, Benjamin Graham movement. I think if you remember, before 1934, the stock market investment was more like trading like crypto. It was only in 1934 when he came out the book, Security Analysis, and he said that how you can value a company. You can really value a company and you can say whether the price is right or wrong. I think we need something like that.
Puneet, this one is to you. What would you say is the untapped potential right now that we have in this space?
I think a lot of things is untapped at this stage. And, considering examples like, let's say Hayat came in with another property in Ahmedabad. How many of you would be able to invest into it directly without investing a larger chunk? Or let's say I checking in into the hotel and without giving my Aadhaar ID or my driving license and then keeping a copy. How can I directly check in without, proving them I'm Puneet Agarwal? So I think the space is huge. A lot of developments are coming in. But then, as discussed in the previous panels, adoption is the key. While a lot of these innovations can come in, but if it's not adopted, it's just an innovation, which can be patented or just kept across. So I think adoption is where we all need to work on, but the potential is immense.
I first of all want to know why it is called Coingcx.
Thank you. I mean, Gabbar in the sense, we just wanted to be the Gabbar of the crypto world in the sense of information. We belong to the same industry. And this is more goes like the Apple story when we were deciding the name of the product. And we could not find a name, and then my other co-founder, Saurabh, who's standing right there. So he came up with this thing that why not make it a product in which we are working in education for crypto, by the way. So it said that why not make a product which says that if somebody scams somebody or if there is a wrong thing happening, they should be scared that Gabbar aa jayega. So that is what is the case. And when we were talking about the adoption of the crypto, that is what our belief is as an information marketplace, that the steps to adoption are first education, then acceptance, and then adoption. So that is what the space really needs to think about. That is what we should be working about, that when we are educating the people, there are two things, like I could derive it from the last panel's conversation. First is that you need to have an easy access to the product, because there are a lot of products. If we keep teaching about Finacle, since a gentleman from the tech industry is also there, So if we keep the nitty-gritties of Finacle to people, people won't matter. It won't matter to them. They would be bothered about the UI or the UX that is there they're facing. So that is when the ease of access should come. So first thing is ease of access if we want to go for more adoption. Second is the understanding or the stability of the product and the the sustainability of the product that goes more with it, and which comes with the education part. So both of these things, the tech experts should come with more of ease of access. The educators or the influencers should come more with the education part so that people are open-heartedly adopting the space. And of course, it has got a lot of potential to grow. That is what it is. That's why we are here today.
Absolutely. So, a lot of us don't read the terms and conditions. You download a new app, you agree to whatever they ask you to. You don't read FAQs, we don't read white papers, we don't read a lot of things that are given to us. So, is the case with every product, including here as well. So, Gaurav, I'll start with you, and I want all four of you to sell me DeFi, sell me blockchain. If you want me as an investor, what is your pitch?
So I think I would just tell you that DeFi is just an upgraded version of digital finance. It's the same old finance, but it's just a better version, and everybody likes the better version, the newer iPhone. So it's like that. And you need to be part of it because it gives you more value, more efficiency, more opportunities. So, yeah.
We've seen, Gaurav, this again is to you. We've seen when it comes to crypto, and as we know, there are more participants. The volumes just skyrocketed. Millionaires were made overnight and they lost money in the next few months as we saw it. What is it that I as an investor need to watch out for within the space?
I think hype. Everybody should be scared of hype because I honestly believe if it looks like it's too good to be true, it's not true, right? So there's like the first chapter of the risk finance book is no return without risk. So just like they always say, DYOR in the crypto world, do your own research. Don't follow the hype, I genuinely say. Don't buy that dog coin or whichever one. But, go in for the value. Find the real value. Go behind where is the money coming from. Ask that question and then invest.
Talk to us also about Octo because I saw a lot of bags, shirts, all of that coming out. Talk to us more about that.
So, I love the fact that you talked about user experience and the previous panelists also did because honestly, that's really our focus, right? We are saying that a lot of people shouldn't need to know a lot of this technology. And which is what a lot of other industries have done really well. They've abstracted out the tech and focused on the use case. That's what we're doing. So the core of our product is a wallet. We've made it simple, secure using MPC technology. We've built a lot of technology, but that's under the scenes, right? So, and on top of the wallet is because we genuinely believe wallet self-custodies are not useful if they don't have a use, right? So we've built utility on it. So like Praveen showed in the screenshots, right, you have earning use cases, trade use cases. We'll have bunch of all the use cases available natively on your mobile app. You don't have to go hunting for all of this. So I really want to see it as the most useful wallet out there.
Mukesh, what would you say? We do know that there is money around, there is money wanting to be invested, money wanting to be earning further interest there. What is the best, safer way of getting in there? Because we have seen people with money, HNIs also want to be part of this, and we have those numbers, vague even, but we have those numbers.
See, what I feel is that, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And, investors are here going to make wealth which is intergenerational. That's what I believe. And to understand is, we have to go to the Web 1. If you remember when 2 decades back when the internet really came, we used to surf yahoo.com and indiatimes.com and, chatting and all. People really could not visualize and imagine that, you will have Amazon and Uber and everything, and that's how it will disrupt our, industry. And see, all these companies, Google, Amazon, Meta, Netflix, they all happened in front of us. Now the question mark is, how many investors did really invest in these companies? Like I have been investing for so many years. Our clients really started participating in, last 6-7 years, and the opportunity was missed. So I think where we are in the, the DeFi space is almost where the internet was in 90s. It's there, we know it's going to disrupt. And I think it's important we understand, we educate ourselves, and it's important we participate, put part of our assets in this because it's going to create very meaningful wealth for all.
So if there is a beginner, and I'm assuming there are people who already invested, I mean, you mentioned there are 11 crore plus kind of people who have in some way at some point in time held some coin there. But what is the right way of exploring this space? How do you invest? What would you advise?
See, my advice, normally what I advise to the clients is that consider this as like a lottery ticket where the probability of winning is very, very high. So I'll see, lottery is not a good word because it paints with the same brush. But when I say lottery tickets, it's also important that we are sitting in India. There are regulatory risks, and you don't know one fine day what government does, what SEBI does. But when you put money over here, be ready if it becomes zero. But this money also has a potential of becoming 100x in next 10 years. So what I advise our clients, put part of your money, maybe 1%, 2%, 3%, start small, see how it goes. And HNI clients, they're very sophisticated investors. They normally want very high return and they're ready to experiment. We all know the alternate space is becoming so big. And similarly, crypto is seeing more and more acceptance. Clients are saying, okay, let me learn, let me put some money. And we started small, and we have clients who put even 10-20% of their assets in the crypto space. So yeah, that's how people can approach to that.
All right. And how difficult was this transition? Were people willing to do that? Did they see money being made? Is the reason they jumped in?
See, it has not been easy. We also have to understand the fact that crypto is complex. Frankly, I've been investing since 2016. If you ask me how much do I understand, I really don't understand much. And the learning curve is so much. In fact, before coming to this panel, I've been reading a lot, frankly. And because there's so much, it changes so fast. Every year, couple of years, there's so much of innovation happening, and keeping up with the pace is not easy. And there's so much of technical jargon. And I think that's where the DeFi industry needs to do some self-regulatory things. A classic example would be, let's say, mutual fund industry. MFI, the Association of Mutual Fund in India, they have made mutual funds so popular. They made SIP so popular. Everyone. How many of you are doing SIP in this room?
Everybody.
Most. And see, what the beauty of SIP is that stock market has not given return in last 20 months. Despite that, the SIP amount is going up. So they understand that, when you do cost averaging, you're going to get better return in the future. So similarly, we need that, we make the investors understand, okay, you invested in the last bull run. This is the time to invest. And why it is important. So I think self-regulatory education is something which will really help us all.
Gaurav, I know Coindcx has a tagline, but what is the industry tagline right now? Let's come up with that right now.
You ask really tough questions sometimes, Manisha. Honestly, I don't know. I'm blank on that. I'll come back on that.
When I come back, until then, you have a couple of minutes on that. So, what would you say? We've seen transitioning, we've seen portfolio build-ups as well, and as Mukesh alluded to a lot of numbers there. How, from traditional finance to DeFi, we know about farming and yielding, and I mean, as said, there's so many jargons. We've learned so much onto this as well. But how have you seen the money shift here?
A lot of people came in to make quick money. A lot of people came in, during the 2017 run or during the 2021 run and wanted to make an, just try and open up an account in an exchange and try and, invest in. But what has happened in good is, with time, people have realized or started, educating themselves, and the awareness has started coming in. People now know, even if they are investing in, some of the recent meme coins, they know the underlying risk behind it, that, I am investing in a meme coin rather than the 2017 to 2020 days where people thought that, okay, every coin is a good coin. So I think people are now fundamentally researching in, people are now understanding, the repercussions it can come in with investing into these coins. So I think that is how primarily the money has moved into the cryptocurrency ecosystem per se. But from the enterprise side of things, how companies have started investing into Web3 and putting in some of the budgets here is because of the adoption and the potential that is coming in. Starting from the metaverse to, all of these Fortune 500 companies like Nike or any fashion brand launching in their own NFT versions or metaverse version of their assets. I think that is where the future is moving towards. So there are two sides of this, and I believe depending on how the industry is growing in and depending on how the the innovations are coming in, that is how, and that is where the money is moving on, and it keeps on changing every 1.5 2 years. So that's how.
But sorry, listening to him, I think if industry should have a tagline, it should be "Don't buy the frog."
Okay, good job done. All right. We talk about not reading the white paper, and as you said, so many of us floundered when it came to buying the right coins there. You all perhaps invest in equities. How many of you really read the balance sheets? How many of you understand the EBITDA and the P ratios? And one. Okay, there's a few. And when you invest in cryptos, do you read the white paper there? You don't. What are the do's and don'ts here then?
Well, a simple thing is that, frankly speaking, there are platforms, there are portals where users can actually go and analyze a company in a much miniature detail down to the last minute details, and they give an industry comparison, they give other things about things like money control is one of the platforms. So this is a clear space which is missing in the crypto. And that is exactly the place what we are trying to fill. When we're talking about education, we are probably the only ones who are doing fundamental research on the crypto assets. So reading the white paper, going through that, telling the users in a 2-pager document not to go, say, 9-pager or a 100-pager document. Just in a 2-pager document, you can understand what exactly this project is to offer, what can be the potential in the future, and what's problem it is solving, what are the use cases scenarios. So these are the things which are much the need of the time, where the users can actually deep dive into the tech. They can understand what the basis of the project is, and they can understand whether it is a worthy investment or not. So these are the things which more and more of people should come up with. This is a habit that people should make. Like I told, money control has been solving a lot of this problem. Probably we are the only ones right now in the crypto space, but I would invite more and more users, more and more people to come into the space and actually solve this problem, because there's a lot of tech happening. But there is a very less analysis when it comes to the common user, because crypto is still an alien subject. So as most of people said that we invest in crypto, but we don't understand what crypto is. So developing that understanding for the basics of a crypto project, what is going on behind the curtain, what is going on behind the tech, that is the actual need of the hour, and that need to be resolved for a lot of adoption, for people actually to understand the concept and to come into this world.
Totally. Gaurav, I understand the initial conversations that we used to have. I mean, you would always say, don't FOMO into it, don't hold too much crypto, do your own research is something that crypto as an industry came out with. With crypto industry itself telling people, and self-KYC is something that you guys also started there. How have you been educating the masses there? What has been the response? Do you think people are absorbing it in?
I think it's a ongoing battle, because by the time you educate people about one risk, 10 others pop up. This industry evolves so fast. So I don't think it'll ever end. Like even now, mutual funds keep telling you about the risks there. So I think we have to continue doing it. We have to catch up with different risks that are there. But I do think people are genuinely understanding it, reacting to it, because now what I see is it being echoed from other quarters. It's not us, but on the community, I see other people, informing us about the risk, and I think that's a great sign that it's a community forming a culture. It's not just everybody forming. I think like you also said, people now go into the risk with full eyes open. So I do think it's helping, but we should continue doing it.
Mukesh, I understand there are various ways of investing when you look at this sector. Buying cryptos is one way. When you have cryptos, then using it in various other ways is another way of doing it. How much understanding, how much knowledge, awareness do you see on ground?
See, on the ground, I really don't see much. But what is also happening is, if we talk about the use case of blockchains, it's phenomenal. In fact, this event which is being organized, and the use cases which were shared, about the government using it, about the land records, caste certificates, about the shipping, fractional investment. SEBI has come out with the guidelines, and I was sitting over there and I was saying our clients' data is all in the centralized data. Maybe we should make it into the blockchain. And so I think the use case is phenomenal. And see, whatever we say, the risk and all that stuff. I come from a traditional finance, and you're from commodity and currency. See, we have seen our side of scams in the traditional finance, right? We had Enron, we had Lehman, with the SVB bank crisis. In India, we had, Yes Bank, DHFL, ILNFS, AAA, all coming down. And every time we think this is the last. Every time I think this is the last, and
No, we don't think it's the last. We know this is the one who got caught.
Yeah, so, it never stops. And that's where, my personal belief in the Web3, that's where it comes from. It addresses a big weakness of the traditional finance, and I think in next 10 years, it's going to disrupt because of the, we understand the transparency and the decentralization. And, Gaurav, in one of the points he said when he was answering the questions that, it's only 7-8 years. Crypto is not very old. Traditional finance is 150 years old. It will take time. One of the gentlemen asked that, 10% of the currency, there was an issue. So these kind of issues will come. But I think one has to have patience. One has to work hard as a community. One has to educate and learn. And I think, yes, it's going to go good to all of us.
So, this is a subject that I'm assuming a lot of you would want to participate as well. So, agar aapke paas koi question hai, you want to invest, you want to ask something, you want to understand this space better, we totally invite that from our guests here. We have an exchange, we have financial advisors, we have people who are telling you, educating you on this. So, if there's a question, we are good to take it. Sure, yeah. Can we please pass on the mics here?
Thank you for the interaction allowed. There, a lot has been talked about the tokenization of the assets or maybe the loan aspect on the credit side. I would say it's not a new topic. It has been encountered by the financial markets maybe 15 to 20 years back, and we have seen such a big chaos happening in the financial market and crores of people losing their millions of their wealth. So how do we tackle when we talk about the DeFi space? It was a centralized space, and still the market got collapsed even though they had the power. Here, everyone participating do not have such substantial power. How do we tackle those risks which we faced 15 years back?
Great question. Puneet, do you want to take this?
Sure. So I think that is the beauty of blockchain and the, trustless system that it brings in. We don't have to trust an organization or a person in order to, buy maybe a fraction of a land or maybe buy a, lend money to as part of unsecured loans for say. Here we basically trust the entire process and trust the smart contracts that are in between, which neither you nor I nor the organization who has created it nor anyone who is participating in the entire network can change it. So that I think in the previous panel also that was being discussed about verifying, not trusting. I think that is what it is different in blockchain ecosystem compared to what has happened 15, 20 years back. And with these smart contracts coming into place, with these process coming into place, I don't have to, depend on any, person guiding me that, I can invest in and I can make in returns or I can actually be a fractional owner of it. The law says it, the contract says it. So I think that is how the process is.
I would like to add something further to it. I mean, I come from the chartered accountancy background and have audited a lot of banks, have seen scams, have unearthed a few. So the only thing that is happening, that is a difference from the past and the present, is that everything has become transparent. Decentralization itself is not happening. I mean, it's changing the effect, but the thing that is there is that it is transparent, it is recorded, and there is no transaction which can be backdated in time and can be changed. So the collaterals are there, they are secured. The decentralization is there, so nobody in a centralized ecosystem is handling things. The third most important part is everybody is on everything, every transaction happening is on a distributed ledger. So anybody in this whole world, if he has the right codes, if he has the access, he can actually access it, check it. And the fourth thing that right now the ecosystem is working towards is self-regulation. But that probably the regulatory aspect, as somebody from the earlier panel mentioned, that the regulatory aspect right now is missing, and the government will definitely be doing something as they did in the centralized finance, they will be doing it in the decentralized finance also. They will be actually checking and regulating the financial aspects of things so that at least the users are not scammed. So these are the basic differences for past and present. The biggest one being that you cannot change and backtrack they change the backdated transactions. And second is you cannot meddle with the collaterals that are actually the basis of a financial industry.
You wanted to add something? All right. We are still open to questions. Yes, please. We'll send you. हम आपके पास mic लेके आते हैं. एक second.
The questions in Ahmedabad are so smart and
yeah.
Let
There's
me
the
tell
whole
you,
idea.
This audience has been amazing.
Totally. हम आपको सुन नहीं पाएंगे. ये televised है program इसके लिए.
Meantime, can I have my
Absolutely,
question?
yes, please.
So we spoke about secured kind of investment, tokenized. We also spoke about transaction being secured because it is all blockchain. But we never spoke about the quality of asset. Who is going to assess the quality of asset? Who will certify that? In absence of any regulatory guidelines or any regulator being there, who will do that? And how we will be kind of assured that whatever is declared is correct? Because we have seen subprime crisis where something was built and nobody understood what is going on and everybody invested.
I'll just add to that, Gaurav. I remember in the last, thank you so much for that question. That's an amazing one. You know, in the last event as well, somebody stood up and asked, there are credit rating agencies for equities. When they say AAA, we just go and buy it. And as Sudeep said, there is really no analysis, no ratings happening. So that would clearly help is something that he's also asking.
Yeah, I think two great questions. So first of all, what you said is exactly what is missing right now. I think the crypto world is just playing with play money right now. They're not playing with real assets because that is missing. And those boundaries, I always say that the boundaries between real world and crypto should be heavily regulated. Like the person who verifies the real asset and issues a token saying this is certified by the asset should almost be either a government or a government agency saying the issuer has to be really, really high fidelity. Then the token, you know, people can trust the token. Because once they've issued and they stamped it, nobody can alter it, nobody can fake it, nobody can manipulate it. So that part needs to be there and that's missing. And I would really love to see, you know, the government come up with some regulations to that. All kinds of real world assets need to be certified. Whether it's your mark sheet or your lease deed or your even, you know, money moving in, it has to be certified by somebody. So I think that's needed. I think to your point, right, one of the things I genuinely feel credit ratings are needed because there is a black box, right? You don't understand what's going on in there, what the company is doing. So you need a label, you need a scorecard. But with blockchain, honestly, there's transparency. So trust either comes from a brand or somebody verifying it, or it comes from transparency. And I think blockchain brings in transparency. So you don't need to trust somebody's rating. You can just go down into see every transaction, whatever they're doing, what rules they're following, and hence you trust them. So I think anybody can become tomorrow Coindcx can become a credit rating agency because they see everything that's going on.
Sudeep, how many companies or coins are you analyzing and analyzing right now?
The total number of tokens listed is 14,000 plus. The deep analysis is done for around 250 assets already because obviously it takes a lot of time, so that is happening. One more thing, one more food for thought for people who are attending here is that when we are talking about collaterals in the decentralized finance space, we are talking only about the collaterals which are in the crypto format. Why can't we have a blend of Web 2 and Web 3? Why can't we have a blend of the centralized finance and the decentralized finance and have real life collaterals being collateralized in the form of tokens, tokenize them, and then develop a financial system?
And we need that.
That is something that can help solve the problem. I mean, we have been collateralizing maybe Bitcoin or Ethereum for that matter. Why can't we collateralize a piece of land which is valued by a registered valuer and then can put it in the decentralized finance space? So that will maybe solve a lot of problems, especially the collateralization in the times to come.
वहाँ पर एक सवाल था जी.
China is banned about crypto. So how you think? I have two more questions. Blockchain is also relating to global warming. So how many countries are now उनका कि भाई उनको डी इंटरेस्ट है कि भाई ये ग्लोबल वार्मिंग बढ़ा रहा है, उसके ऊपर एक है। और पुनीत जी ने एक बताया कि इफ आई एम कमिंग टू द एनी होटल एंड without any recognition, if I am getting the entry, this will be the best. But we as a India country, we have a lowest educational, मतलब education हमारे यहाँ पे बहुत कम है। तो I don't think like that कि masses for masses and classes for classes. तो if as a US has a problem of so much companies are now lay off peoples, okay. So by giving this blockchain technologies or like that, now the problem of unemployment is rising. So 3 questions, Madam. China banning, global warming, and masses for masses.
Okay, you want to take that? Sure. So I'll maybe take the third part of the question. Sari rightly pointed out, about that would be the best case, right? If I'm able to enter into an hotel without actually giving in my digital identity. But India is also, like one of the largest, among the globe. The number of Aadhars that has been issued or the number of identities that has been issued, India stands way high compared to any other country. Similarly, for QR-based payments or UPI-based payments, the number of payment, the digital acceptance of Indians is very high compared to any other countries. Now combine these two, if I just can scan this and give my identity, that is all what is needed, which Indians understand. So entering into hotel can be that simple without actually, educating people much about it, and just people can scan a QR to verify their identity. So
answer the other question, but go ahead. So I'll take the other 2 questions, or at least I'll take a stab and please feel to add to it. I think first of all, वो आपकी एफिशिएंसी वाली जो बात थी, जो पहली गाड़ी आई थी, जो कार थी या पहली थी, वो बहुत इनएफिशिएंट थी। वो उसकी माइलेज जो हम इंडिया में बोलते हैं ना कितना देती है, वो बहुत कम देती थी, राइट? बट टेक्नोलॉजी इंप्रूव होती जाती है और माइलेज बढ़ती जाती है, और अब तो मतलब 40-50 भी आ जाती हैं कई गाड़ियों की। सो टेक्नोलॉजी टेक्स टाइम, माइलेज बढ़ेगी। जो आपने बोला एफिशिएंसी है, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग है, ऑलरेडी जो जैसे इथेरियम पे जो चेंज हुआ है उसमें वो प्रूफ ऑफ वर्क से प्रूफ ऑफ स्टेक गए हैं, ऑलरेडी उसकी एफिशिएंसी आई थिंक 99% इंप्रूव हो गई थी ओवर द लास्ट थिंग। सो टेक्नोलॉजी विल कीप ऑन इंप्रूविंग डेफिनेटली। फर्स्ट टेक्नोलॉजी इज नॉट द मोस्ट एफिशिएंट, इट टेक्स टाइम। सो we'll have to give it time, but technology improves exponentially. I think that's the beauty of it. On China wali baat, I think people can add, but one of the very interesting, one of the things we have to see is crypto and blockchain are different, and I would love for that narrative and that education to actually, go over. I think that should be a tagline. Crypto is not blockchain, crypto is not Web3. But China has, I just read a news, has actually set up institutes to train around 5 lakh blockchain professionals, because they believe in it. They may have banned cryptocurrency, and crypto is one thing very difficult, बहुत nuanced है, but blockchain, the technology, everybody believes in. China also believes in it, and I think the whole world is, and we should invest in it because it brings in a lot of value and efficiency. So that's the answer to your China question, but feel free to add.
One more thing that we need to answer. I mean, what is the difference between crypto and blockchain? आप किसी भी जगह पर जाते हैं, when you travel by a train or by a flight, या बस से भी ट्रैवल करते हैं या किसी इवेंट में आते हैं, तो यू आर होल्डिंग अ पास, जिसके बिना, या एक टिकट जिसके बिना आपको उस सर्विस का एक्सेस नहीं मिलता है. That is the key behind crypto and blockchain. So in order to access the blockchain, you need to have a token, a ticket, a pass. Crypto provides you with that pass that you are authorized to access this particular blockchain. And that is crypto. So when you're talking about crypto, जैसे कि किसी कंपनी का शेयर होता है, उसी तरीके से जो इक्विटी शेयर होता है, उसी तरीके से ब्लॉकचेन की इक्विटी होती है क्रिप्टो, जिस पर कि वो ब्लॉकचेन बनती है, क्योंकि डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड में किसी कंपनी का शेयर नहीं होता. So जब आप टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करते हैं, तो इन कंपनीज लाइक TCS, लाइक Infosys, if you want to invest in their technology in their future, you simply invest by buying their equity share. But in a decentralized world, everybody is having that code. So there is no one person who's holding the code. So how do you promote that technology? How do you invest in it? You buy the crypto asset. And that is how you promote, you invest in that technology. So crypto asset is basically the equity token or the equity share to that particular blockchain. And that is how these two differ. Right? Thank you.
All right, I think you can take one more final question. We've basically timed out our time, but we'll take one final question.
मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अभी जो हमारा इंडिया का इलेक्शन सिस्टम है उसमें काफ़ी सारा एक्सपेंस होता है, तो और हर 5 साल में वो एक्सपेंस बढ़ ही जाता है, तो क्या हम ऐसा सिस्टम बना सकते हैं ब्लॉकचेन के द्वारा जो इलेक्शन का जो सिस्टम है पूरा डिसेंट्रलाइज करे और जो एक्सपेंस है वो कम करे?
देखिए, हम एक्चुअली सिटीज में इसीलिए आते हैं कि हमें ऐसे ऐसे आइडियाज सुनने को मिले. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. I think we can take more questions, but this is a great idea. Since we are getting ideas, I don't want to stop here. Yes, please.
Thank you for very nice information. As you last mentioned, chain and crypto. So again, as a layman, we need to understand more about the blockchain, how it is useful. See, unless and until people doesn't know the blockchain, the corporates, bigger corporates have already entered in the blockchain system and accepted. But a small and medium kind of people may require some more valuable inputs about from your side. So can invest into blockchain. By no doubt, crypto is there. But there are so many wallets which is reliable, some non-reliable, as we know, because it's a crypto world. Differently, people have given a name. But blockchain actual system, I think so many years ago, but it was a era in 2017-18 where the mining was there and it drastically changed आया, जहाँ पर most of mining floor पे mining system लगाया था. So blockchain की लेमेन को बताने का आपके माध्यम से बहुत जरूरी है.
Absolutely, आपकी बात बिल्कुल सही है कि बड़ी कंपनीज आराम से कर लेती हैं, हमें यहाँ पर एंटर करने में प्रॉब्लम है. I can assure you one thing, sir, कि हम जैसे यहाँ पे नीचे उतरेंगे, they will answer your questions. But at this point in time, I'll take those couple of questions more and then we'll move on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
सर, ये जो Web3 है और ब्लॉकचेन, उसमें मेन डिफरेंसेस क्या है? और दूसरी बात कि जो ये डेटा प्रोटेक्शन रूल आ रहा है, जो नया बिल आ रहा है, उससे ये ब्लॉकचेन टेक्नोलॉजी जो डेवलपमेंट हो रही है उस पर क्या प्रभाव पड़ेगा?
Amazing questions. Again, I promise you, as they come down, you must catch hold of them. But this is just for record the kind of questions that you guys really need to ask or want to ask. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for the nice session. So there is one contrast thing I see, like the way we are seeing that no one controls this thing and all, right? And I also have heard that there is some 51% attack or something that can happen to the blockchain, right? So yeah, so if you can give some light on the same, that why there is some contrast on the same, because I have heard that on the 51% attack, the group can influence the transactions, right? The transactions which are happening on the system.
It's a question mark on the decentralization is what, especially. Yeah. We get that. We get that. Thank you so much for asking that question. Please pass on the mic. We'll just take the questions, but you can absolutely catch hold of the panelists as soon as they come down.
Thank you for the opportunity. So when we talk about stability, we talk about stable coins. So my question is, I'm not expert in that. Correct me if may I wrong. So India is going to build a stable coin, or you can say digital currency, which is backed by fiat. So the problem is happening in the other countries, like in America. So there is a stable coins like USDT Tether and USDC. So if they also backed by fiat. So if their currency, if their fiat is going to collapse, then the USDT also going to collapse. So there is a huge problem in that. So my main question is, India is going to build that currency based on the fiat. So why we not going to let's say we have to take something that is not replicated, like gold. It is not replicated. Money is going to let's say we print money, then the value is going to down. So my concern is that why we are not going to back by gold. That, let's say Russia, I heard that Russia is going.
We get your point. Instead of backing it with fiat currency, why not do it with gold instead?
Gold,
but stable currencies, CBDCs, and there are currencies backed by other asset classes also. But again, I promise you, these guys will answer you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good evening.
We all talk about this positive part of this cryptocurrency. The main question that I'm trying to understand is one is a lot of negative role being played by the cryptocurrency across the world, like purchasing arms as well as, the ransomware is the only transaction happening through crypto. So being a technocrat or the governing body, what is the control mechanism that we can think of so that, this can go in the positive way rather than going in a negative way?
Well said. Thank you again. We are absolutely off time, but the reason that we come on ground and meet you is to understand what is it that we need to do further in sense of, making these themes, making these panels that we try and do here. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing audience. All panelists are going to be here. Please approach them. Please ask your questions. And we really appreciate you spending your Saturday evening with us. Thank you.
Hold on for a second, please. While I request all the panelists to stay back for a picture op, I do want all the people here to give themselves a big round of applause. This audience was on fire. And may I first invite all the panelists on the stage for a quick photo op. And then I want a photo op with all of you, so please don't go away. Just hold on for a little while. And I promise you, then the evening is all yours. Fantastic. Well, that's your opportunity also to take out your mobiles and click a few pictures and post them, tagging us and Namaste Web3. This is the wonderful panel that you all heard today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before I let you go, I need a big favor from all of you. I need a lovely picture of everyone here giving themselves first a big round of applause. So that is one. And then may I request all the audiences here to give yourselves a pat on the back and raise your hands like this for a big picture opportunity that we are going to capture. All of you, please indulge me. Yes. Lovely. Panelists, if I can just have you here and capture this moment with all of them. All right. Once again, at the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. Thank you so much. Thank you. You've been a great audience. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your evening. And of course, you get to mob all the panelists. Go ahead.